Hello, here we are, Saturday Night Live, Saturday, September 28th. I got to look at the calendar because the weeks, the months, and the years just fly by. Who knows? It's this illusionary time thing. But anyway, we're having fun because the time is now. We have special guest today, Jeremy, and some awesome, courageous stuff. Who decided to be true to himself and rejoin us. Jeremy, how you doing?
Very well, very well. Thank you. Yeah, I'm good.
Awesome. So maybe you want to give us a little bit of a rundown of your history and, you know, growing up and lifestyle and so on and so forth, and how you came to find us crazy people in this crazy realm, in MFS realm.
Yeah, well, my kind of journey started like I feel like the same way that kind of it did with everyone. I was brought into like a very typical, Western society diet. Just here in Australia, and we all, like grew up on like meat and vegetables and potato and like a lot of my childhood, I had like just bread, like lots and lots and lots of bread. Like Vegemite toast is a staple um, over here in Australia, and like peanut butter toast and noodles. I just I ate a ton of noodles, my whole life, and like just cereals, like all your grains, like like Nutri-Grain and Wheat Bix and like everything like that, and like got into fast food, like McDonald's and just all that, like all that, I yeah, and
All the good
I've been
stuff.
thinking about this for yeah, yeah, um, yeah, and I worked at McDonald's for 3 years, and I got right into weightlifting, and I was doing like the 8 eggs a day thing, and for 3 years at McDonald's, I'd eat like 3 meals a day working there, and we sneak thick shakes out back and do all that kind of thing, and me and my mates would go out and we'd be like drinking and stuff like that. Just we get like pounders, which are like double quarter pounders, and just yeah, like that's just how it was, and like just like pizzas and pies and just everything and anything, and I got into the whole just like um, building muscle for strength training. I got into like the whole pre-workouts and like just super high like caffeine and stimulant consumption, and I was following this guy. I don't know if you know him, called Rich Piana. Have you ever heard of him before?
Not myself.
Yeah, he's basically like he's like this crazy, like he's dead now, of course. But he's basically like this massive. He's actually a really nice guy. I really like him, but he's massive like steroid head guy with all these to dos, and he was doing like this bigger by the day series. So he like started on 4 meals a day, then he wanted to work all the way up to 12 meals a day. And I was following him doing that. I got up to 8 meals a day, and I was waking up twice during the night, and I was drinking 4 to 5 liters a day of pasteurized, just pasteurized milk.
Wow.
And yeah, I did that for about a month, and I was getting really sick and like bloated. Like I was putting on weight, but it was mostly just bloat, and I was getting like my body eventually couldn't even handle solid foods, which was really not good because I was trying to eat 8 meals a day with the pasteurized milk, and like huge, massive meals of bolognese and like just frozen crap pizzas and pies and like everything I could get my hands on. And my mum reckons when she was watching me do all that, she just thought like it was just sick, like it was just awful, and my body just couldn't sustain it. Like I was getting like I was just getting sick, but I was still trying to push it really hard with like stimulants, like pre-workouts and caffeine, and so that didn't last too long. That lasted about a month, and like before that, for like years and years, I was just eating like lots, like the standard American bodybuilding like strength training, you know, just like huge bologneses and rice and tuna and fast food and McDonald's, and like, you know, I was doing like 8 eggs a day and like protein shakes and, you know, all the good stuff.
Is there anybody surviving doing that still?
What's that? Sorry?
Eating
Yeah,
it.
yeah, I know. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, you know, and it did a lot of damage to me. It did a lot of damage. Like, you know, it's been like that whole 8 meal a day venture thing I did. That wasn't. I went vegan not long after that, and for me, like, I knew there was something wrong with the whole animal agriculture thing. Like, I knew that it wasn't right for the animals, but I didn't really know what was happening. And I wanted to switch over, but like, I wanted to still be really strong. And I tried once, but I didn't know what I was doing. But then what switched me over, because I was training at this gym in the Gold Coast called Coco's Gym. It's basically like, it's not bodybuilding, it's more like powerlifting and strength training and also strongman. And you know, that it was an amazing gym, and you know, I did get really strong there, and but you know, like it was basically like most of the guys there are like muscle heads, like juice heads, and like, but really nice guys. And
Where does
but
strength
anyways,
come
I mean,
from?
what's that? Sorry.
Where do you believe strength comes from?
Physical strength.
Yeah.
Um, well, I used to think it came from, you know, pushing your body hard and then giving it the necessary fuel and then sleep. Because, you know, you break down your body when you're training, and it's actually during, you know, you're actually at your weakest when you're training, and it's during recovery that your body sort of, you know, adapts and, you know, becomes stronger. But, you know, like everyone, yeah, I thought it was, you know, like the food, like you needed the necessary building blocks and the rest, and the, you know, you got to put the stimulation on your body, like you got to work it hard, you know, break down the muscle fibers so it goes, oh, you know, crap, okay, we've got to adapt and get stronger. Um, so yeah, no, yeah, yeah, I suppose, yeah, like food and sleep and training, recovery.
It's all part of it, yeah. But the number one thing behind it all is the intent and emotion, right? The belief. And number two is doing the actual work to build a muscle. The food is not really important.
It's actually
when people are using stimulants, that's a whole different ballgame. Yeah, you're going to get strong with stimulants, but still, you have to back up what's behind it. It's the intent and emotion to gain strength, right? If you look at a little monkey, it's like 10 times the strength of a human. They'll rip your arm right out of your socket. You know, where do they get that strength? We've gone away from our natural states, and that's why we are where we are today. Sorry to cut you off there. I just wanted to throw that in.
Yeah,
You can continue.
No, it's true. Go on.
Yeah, the protein is actually, like we know that the protein is very obstructive, so it would actually, I mean, you will not be able to get to your, I guess, biggest potential on protein.
Yeah, it amazes me like how some people get to these crazy strengths doing all these foods and steroids and this and that, and the human body still survives through it all. It just amazes me.
Because you'd be constipated.
Yeah, you know, a lot of these guys, they drop dead, you know, very young. A lot of bodybuilders and stuff. Yeah, because there's not big thing in that is kidney failure, right?
Which is protein.
Yeah. You still haven't like switched on properly, and I've had lots of lower back pain like for years and years. But what I was going to say, yeah, with you know, you look at like the the bonobos and the monkeys. I think gorillas too, but I know bonobos and monkeys are our closest relative primates, and they're primary frugivores, and like, you know, they'll just eat a couple of bananas or something, you know, or like a gorilla, you give it a couple of bananas, and then it'll just go boom. It'll just bounce off into the forest, and you know, and they're full. Like, you know, even bonobos, like I think they're about pound. They're about of the average human. They're about half our body weight, and I think they're about somewhere from 2 to 4 times our strength, like pound for pound. And, you know, they just rip you, like, you know, just to be blunt, they just rip your head off. Like, you know, they're just so powerful, and they're, you know, their digestive, like, you know, their physiology and anatomy is like identical to ours internally. If I think, I believe I'm right.
Bonobo is the closest. Then the chimpanzees, I think, is second.
Yeah.
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 Genetically, you're talking. Yeah, it's like 99% point whatever, identical to human.
And I saw some. I was reading up on them, and it's like their diet is like primarily fruit, like 98%. And on average, this is just an article I read, but on average, like 9 days a year, they'll eat something that isn't fruit. And I think it was like in the form of like insects, honey, eggs, and there was something else too: insects, honey, eggs, and nuts and seeds or leafy greens.
Yeah.
But, you know, like basically, yeah, basically just fruit. And what was going to say before, yeah, like, because I wanted to go vegan, but I didn't want to lose my strength. And I met this guy at the gym, and he was vegan, and he was actually the strongest guy in Australia. He had a deadlift record, a strongman deadlift record, and it was in the under 80 kilo weight class, and he had a 300 kilo strongman deadlift, and it was the official like Australian strongman record. And he didn't take any steroids because, you know, everyone took steroids, and a lot of guys didn't like him because he didn't take steroids. And he said to me, like, you know, he was talking to me, and I'm like, you know, about diet, and I'm like, what do you eat, man? Like, he's like, I just eat salad all day. And, you know, like everyone else, all the meat eaters, they're eating, you know, like super high protein, and he's stronger than them, you know, and he's like, he's a warrior. Like he's got that intent and emotion. Like, he's just like, I'm gonna lift this weight or I'm gonna die. Like, he just has that, like, that intensity about him. But I asked him, like, about the whole protein thing. It's like, what do you think, man, about like the protein? And he basically said to me, like, it's bullshit. It's total bullshit. And that's just when something clicked in my mind. I just knew it's like, he just said it's a myth, man. I just knew it's like, okay, yeah, the whole food thing, it's just a lie, you know? It's just a lie. And I remember he posted a picture of his back up on one of his Instagram things, and because all the guys that use steroids, they get like massive, they get acne all over their entire body, and he didn't. His back was just like, you know, just clean, like. And he reckons, he told me he did that and he lost a couple of followers because he just triggered people so hard that, you know, this guy here is just vegan, doesn't take steroids or nothing, just eats whatever, doesn't take protein, and just, you know, people just couldn't handle it. It just like, it shattered the illusion. It was just like the mirror of truth, you know. He was just like holding it up and just,
Exactly.
yeah.
Well, you know, like there's that. What's that guy's name? That he's Iranian or something. Strongman.
Patrick.
Yeah, he broke
William.
many records. All kinds. You know, he said the best thing he did was when he went from vegetarian to vegan. He got even stronger. Of course, you're going to lower obstructive diet. That's what it is. You see people when they can, you know, step back and look at the truth. You know, look at, you know, answers in plain sight. You can see it. If you don't want to see it, you're not going to see it, right?
Yep. When I went vegan, like, because I was eating, like, I basically went straight from, you know, all meat, like, you know, I was doing that ridiculous, like, 4 or 5 liters of milk a day, 8 meals a day. Then I just went straight to vegan for junk, like, just I switched over to junk food, and, you know, I knew nothing. You know, I still know nothing, but I knew like absolutely nothing back then, and I was like, you know, some people struggle switching it, like just vegan, like, you know, just off a regular 3 meal a day diet. It's crazy. Like, it's crazy coming back to a more natural diet. Like, yeah, I'm not saying it. Yeah, like, yeah, what vegans eat is natural, but for the most part, I think it's more natural than what than a meat diet. And you know, at the time, my mindset was like, okay, I'll go to the hospital if I have to, but like, I'm switching. You know, no matter what, I don't care what happens or what changes my body goes. It was fine. I just had a little bit of acid reflux for about 2 weeks, and but the funny thing was, right, you know, and I just ate everything, like just vegan junk food and whatever I could get my hands on, and because I'd been eating so bad as a meat eater, I was detoxing for like 2 weeks straight. Like,
Right.
you know, I just had, you know, just eating any junk vegan food. I was just, you know, yeah, I was just detoxing. Like, I had the runs just non-stop, and just my body was just flushing out crap. It was ridiculous, you know, because my lifestyle. And yeah, and I got stronger. I lost a little bit of weight, and I broke my deadlift record, which at the time was 500 pounds, and I broke it. I just pulled 230, and my best was 227, but I hadn't broken that record in 2 years. And like, at that point, my body was pretty smashed from like the really high protein diet and years at McDonald's and years of weightlifting and just everything and stimulants. But that veganism gave me that kind of like that second little boost. Like, it kind of kept me going like a little bit longer for like another kind of year or few years until it just really crashed. I really crashed, hit me hard because I was still eating just all the vegan junk food, you know, like high protein, just anything, you know. So, but coming from where I was coming from, like high protein meat diet, just eating stupid amount to vegan, um, it it gave me that extra strength for a while, and it kept me going. You know, it was a step in the right direction. You know, I was going less obstructive, and I got a lot stronger. And yeah, it was amazing. It was really good. So yeah, that's a bit of. Oh yeah, okay. So yeah, the masterclass. Like, how did I stumble upon the masterclass? So yeah, I about because I went vegan December 2016, and by about by about 2018, about a year into it, I started having lots of issues. Like, I was getting I was getting quite sick, common, you know, colds and flus, and you know, and yeah, I was having lots of issues. Like, I was having lots of emotional issues with family and everything, and I got into animal rights activism, and that was extremely stressful and not good for me. And yeah, I found John Rose, you know, the guy who does like raw juice fast, and I tried that. I did a 9-day juice fast, and I had 9 bowel movements over 9 days. And I thought, okay, there's something to this. And at that point where I did the juice fast, I think I'd been sick for 3 times in 3 weeks. Like, I was just sick for 3 weeks, and I had to stop lifting weights, and because I was still pushing my body really hard. And um um sorry, yeah, no, I first thing I did was a 5-day water fast. That was the first thing I ever kind of did on the vegan journey, and that was the animal rights activism. I saw some other guy I was following. He's like, yeah, really one of those guys that's his whole life kind of. He's really famous and all that, and travels around and does all that. He did a 5-day water fast outside a slaughterhouse, and I thought, okay, I'll do that. That was, yeah, you know, I knew nothing about fasting at the time, and I just felt cool to do it. I thought, yeah, I just thought, okay, I'm gonna do it. no matter what happens, I don't care. And I did it, and you know that kind of opened my mind up to just a whole new dimension that I'd never explored. And I started looking into it, and I started googling and all that, and that 5-day fast kind of kept me going for a long time because yeah, like my body was pretty smashed at that point. And after I did that 5-day fast, I did keto for about 3 weeks, and I didn't like that at all. I thought, I'm not going to do this anymore. But then I got into intermittent fasting, just a vegan diet. I just 2 meals a day, like huge meals, like whatever I wanted. And I did that for about 6 months of vegan intermittent fasting, and I really liked that. And I did some like 24-hour water fasts, and just I tried like 1 meal a day here and there, and I stretched it out from 16-hour daily intermittent fast. I did 20 hours, and I looked into the benefits of eating less and doing fasting and raising your testosterone and human growth hormone. And I was like, oh yeah, that's really cool. I want to get those natural hormones and boost up my strength and all that sort of stuff. And so I did that, and that was really good. And then I was still getting sick. I was still having lots of problems. So I found the juice fasting, and I tried my first one. I just did 9 days, and I remember just juices, like no fiber, just whatever juices I could get. And I had 9 bowel movements, and I'd been sick for 3 weeks, and I went in and trained after I did the juice fasting, the 9 days, and I was really, really strong. Like I was really, 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 really strong, and I felt electricity running through my whole body. And I'm like, that's really interesting. I've just gone 10 days without any, all my protein and nutrients and all that, and I've come back way, way, way stronger. So there's something to this. There's something to this. And then what did I do? Then I found Dr. Robert Morse, and I found like the whole fruits and herbs, and I went fully fruit for about 2 months, like and I had all like your avocados and your veggie fruits and stuff like that, and I was just doing some juicing every day, and a little bit of intermittent fasting, and I was taking like your herbs, like just your Dr. Robert Morse herbs, and I found dry fasting. I did a bit of intermittent dry fasting every day with the fruit, and that was really good. And I did the dry I did the dry fasting and the fruit and the herbs, and that was good. But I had problems like sticking to it, and I had lots of relapses. And I did all that, and I experienced some really good results. Like I cured my hay fever, my chronic hay fever that I'd had since I was 6 years old. I had really, really bad hay fever, just like tremendous. It was awful, and I'd had to take Nasonex my whole life, which is basically just like a steroidal nasal spray. And I think that probably has weakened. I don't know, like I don't know much about it, but I think that it's definitely done my body some damage, and I think probably weakened my whole nervous system, if you want to use all the kind of man-made medical terms and labels, but put my body even further out of balance and obstructed it with more chemicals and crap that I don't need. And my mum spent $10,000 on a last resort immunotherapy thing because we thought it was dust mites. So basically the whole logic behind it was they'd inject me with a dose of dust mite every few weeks, and they'd build up the injection, the levels of dust mite to immunize my body to adapt it to dust mite. So and that was like a last resort thing, and it had a 90% success rate, and it cost mum 10 grand, and it didn't do anything. It didn't work. It was just a total waste of time and money. And the dry fasting was what healed it for me. I was doing dry fasting, like just 24, 36 hours. I couldn't do more than 36 hours at the time. It was too much for me. And I actually kicked a parasite, a live parasite, doing dry fasting, which I thought was very interesting at the time. That was really, yeah. And what I was doing, I was just doing dry fasting when I was on this all fruit diet. And in between the dry fasting, I was just drinking liquid. Like I was doing like oranges and lemons and cane sugar juice, like all raw. And, you know, I was doing no enemas or colon cleansing at the time. So I'd been feeling that I needed to, like I'd been feeling the call to it, but my monkey mind and ego was just fighting it, and just I didn't want to do it. But I should have done it, because there were a few occasions where I'd had stuff move through and I felt very, very, very sick. And, you know, you see people in these communities and just doing different detoxes and they're not promoting enemas, and I'm just going, holy shit, like that's just not good. You know, they're moving through all this waste and they're going, oh, you know, but the body should be able to, you know, do it all naturally by itself. And I understand that logic, but not with the we've been eating, not with.
They're talking about, you know, let the body do it naturally, but they haven't been living naturally their whole freaking life, and then they want the body to do it naturally. Yeah, okay, sure, go for it. Enjoy.
Yeah. yeah, but so I did the dry fasting with the hay fever, and basically I do a 36-hour dry fast, and then I break it on just liquids, like just orange and lemons and cane sugar juice. And what happened was I do that, I break it with liquid, and then I started coughing up all this mucus, like all from here in the back of my head, my throat, and that's what I found out the hay fever was. It was just, you know, just mucus and lymph and whatever you want to call it, like all around the head and everything, just, you know, just, and, you know, I did about 2 or 3 dry fasts around the 36, 40-hour mark, just as much as I could. And each time I broke it with the liquids, for an hour straight, like 1 hour straight, I was coughing up this thick yellow mucus. Like it was like I was having like an exorcism, man. Like it was crazy. Like I had to get like these like t-shirts, like these massive big, because, you know, I was just covering towels. I couldn't, like, rolls of toilet paper, and like I'd go for an hour and I'd cover 3 t-shirts, like the full t-shirt, and by the end of it, my whole throat was just raw. Like it was just like my whole head just felt so clear. Like I just like my brain and my just like everything in my nose just felt clear. Like I could just think, I could breathe, and it was just, you know, I just went, holy shit. Like, and that's when I realized, I'm like, okay, you know, I didn't understand it. I didn't know what I was doing, but it's like I knew that it's all a lie. All the medical, you know, it's like, okay, yeah, cancer can be healed, everything can be healed. It's all a lie. I knew at that point, I didn't understand it, like, you know, rationally or logically, or I didn't. Yeah, but I knew at that point, like it was all, like it was all bullshit, basically. Excuse my language. Yeah, and so I did that, and then not long after, you know, I relapsed from the whole raw fruit thing, because I'd moved out of home for a while, because I was just having massive, like, just emotional issues and just all sorts of issues, and my body was like just shutting down, like not shutting down, but I was getting really sick. So I moved out of home, and I just kind of died for a while in this little kind of apartment thing I had, and I just ate fruit, and I tried to just detox, and just like, I was having so many emotions, I was purging and just everything, and I had no idea what I was doing. But then I went back home after staying at this apartment I had for a couple months, and that's when I relapsed off the fruit. And because I was having issues at home, and then I relapsed really hard on just everything, like just all the vegan junk food, and I relapsed for about a month really hard, and then I went on raw fruit again for about 3 weeks, and then I was just researching the whole time. I was researching like Dr. Robert Morse and John Rose and juice fasting, water fasting, and dry fasting, and then I just stumbled upon it, the Master Fast system. I think the YouTube video Mark James Gordon. I think you did an interview with him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I found him. I found that video, and I thought this is interesting, and like everyone, I was kind of like, God, cooked grape juice, that's pretty out there, like everyone. But I just knew, I had this feeling in my gut. I'm like, there's something to this, like people are getting real results. Like I don't understand it, but if it works, I'm gonna try it. Like I'm that kind of person. I'll always try something. Like some people are just like, oh, but cooked grape juice, I won't do it. No matter how I'm the kind of person, it's like, well, okay, but I've got to experience it. Experience trumps everything. I don't care what you say, or if you're a scientist or the Prime Minister of the United States of America. If you haven't experienced it, I don't care. So yeah, I found that, and actually, Oliver, not Oliver Paul, because I think I know I've seen him on the Zooms, but Oliver, the one who went to your house, Oliver, he posted on
Yeah.
forums the other day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I stumbled upon him on Instagram, because I was sort of getting in that circle, like of the fruitarians and the raw guys, and I found him on Instagram, and I was kind of watching he just seemed so radiant, he just seemed really, really, really happy, just incredibly. And he was sort of talking about it, he just said MFS and less is more, and had little emoticons of grapes and lemons, and I was just looking at him, his energy and his vibe, and I just knew, that just kind of, it sealed the deal for me, how they say with car salesmen, it's you're not selling the car, you're selling yourself. So it's he sold it for me. I just saw how radiant he was, and it's okay, I'm gonna try it. And I did my first. Well, it wasn't really a proper master fast because me, everyone else, thought I knew better, and I could get away without using the herbs, and without using the tea. And I did it for about 30 days, cooked grape juice with lemon, and I did the enemas, and I flushed out a huge amount of crap. I would have had probably, not including the pudding, I would have honestly had a good 50 bowel movements, and I relapsed from it, and I ran into massive issues, and that's where I began to learn, okay, you need to do the whole protocol, or else it's not a master fast. Like you guys say, it's not a master fast. It's not a master fast if you don't incorporate all the tools. That's just a cook grape juice fast, The master fast system isn't a grape juice fast. It's a prudent protocol designed with years of experience, to because it's so powerful, and that's the thing, it's just so powerful that you need all those tools to, you need the herbal support, and you need the pudding, and you need the tea, and you need everything, or else, you'll get humbled, and it's happened to me time and time again, and that's just, you know, that's just, I'm young and dumb, and that's just us Aussies, us Aussies, we just push things way too hard, and, and then we just stuff up really, and, just get, I've got to touch the fire, I've got to get burnt, and that's how you learn though, I've got to experience it for myself, the good and the bad, then it's well, okay, well, at least I can warn other people now what happened, because I thought being that I was young, my body would be able to handle it. I thought, okay, well, I can just do the enemas, and as long as I keep the stuff flowing out, I'll be right, and Yeah, no, it's not
It's
true.
good.
You need
I,
the herbs.
I've shared my story of my first cooked juice fast,
Yeah.
right? 40 days, and ended up in bed. I was doing enemas every day. If I wasn't doing enemas back then,
Really? I didn't know that. I thought you were just doing the
I was
juice. I thought it was just juice.
and doing enemas. Oh yeah, I was doing enemas from back then. And the stuff, like I was getting tar coming out almost every day, right? Back then, and it was just when you get onto fasting state, we get into that elimination mode. The body wasn't able to handle eliminating toxins, and that's why I ended up in bed, being bedridden. Right, I was the whole body started shutting down, the kidneys, bladder. It was just a nightmare. I had gas coming out of my body, this horrific gas, because I was just rotting. Coming from a lifestyle, eating anything, everything, and I was young, man. I was 26 years old, right? So back then, all I had was Arnold Eric's book. No YouTube, YouTube, no Google, no internet, and
Mm.
there was nobody to find to support what I was doing out there. Good luck finding back those days. So
Yeah, you need the
we know a little
support.
bit more today. We know a little bit more. No reason for anybody to go.
Yeah,
Like some people that are in a really obstructive imbalanced state today, they're gonna have a hard time. They're gonna have a hard time. And
Even with the two.
yeah, even with all the tools, we've had a few people, very few that had a very difficult time doing it, and that's why we're saying to people, be ready to do the lifestyle and take your time and move slowly and make sure you use the tools. Make sure you use those tools and make sure you're committed and so on and so forth. Like I posted today about the chemo. Not was it today or yeah today
Yesterday.
about the chemo. Yesterday about the chemo and today about the GI tract on how the body builds a protective mucus layer because of the eating act that we do. And that starts in the mother's tummy, right? Because the mother's eating. So that layer gets built in the GI tract from that point. Okay. So when we come out and we start, living our lifestyle, we just build on that. And once we get on an MFS for any length of time, once you start getting to 40 days plus, you start shedding that layer. And this is where very, 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 very few understand about once you shed that layer and you go to obstructive food, how dangerous it can be. And, we've had one too many people, getting themselves in real dangerous situations. And there's no need to. Be ready or just don't do it, Just don't do it. Start on slowly. Start on a couple days a week and go with that.
that's the thing. That's the thing. That's what I was going to say. You're so much better off if say for example you want to do like even 40 days and you've never done an MFS before. You're better off doing 14 days and then break it properly and master the act of breaking the fast, because in my experience, you know this better than everyone. Like any man can fast, but it takes a wise man to break a fast, and that's where all the challenges happen, is when you're breaking the fast. So it's better off if you do a smaller fast, but you break it properly, than doing a big fast and relapsing, because that's what I found. If you push too hard and you're not ready for it, you'll get pulled back. And people don't realize, it's like you might be on day 20 of your fast and it's like, I'm feeling great, I'll do another 20 days, but it's like, that's fine. But it's when you break the fast, you should have broken it on the 20 days and practiced it and master that. And then next time break it on, do 20 days, and then next time do 40 days or 30 days. But
Slow,
yeah,
steady,
if you go to
slow, steady, and we continue the journey. Everybody wants everything yesterday because we're in this illusionary instant gratification society. And it's the false program that's been running through us all. And it's very difficult to get through that. This is why people believe they know better. But this is a lifestyle. We've been
Yeah.
talking about it since day one, and
Yeah,
we keep making adjustments because it doesn't matter how many times we say it, it just doesn't get through to people because that program's in the way, and the program's so strong, they believe that's their, that's their reality.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of getting into the lifestyle. I'm a big fan of getting into the lifestyle, like honestly, even immediately, like forget about even 1 week of fasting. Just get into the lifestyle. Decide how many days a week are good for you, based on your experience. You know your lifestyle more than anybody else. So you decide how many days a week, and if you're ready to go, like, yeah, build yourself. If you want to do more days a week, then do more days and just keep building yourself up. You will find that you definitely appreciate fasting more than eating when you make it a lifestyle, right? You will see the difference very easily when you eat break.
Yeah.
I mean, eat fast. You will see it. It will be so clear, and
The,
you will be able to make the decision, and your belief system will change as well and support you because of your experience.
Yeah, the eventing thing is what most people take it as. They're not going to be happy after. They're not going to be happy. The ones who live it and love it and continue, man, they're just flying. They're grooving.
Yeah, I mean, there's
You do somebody who out of nowhere comes into 108 days, metamorphosized, bang, and then they're running with the tail between their legs. They don't know if they're coming or going because they haven't done all the homework for emotional stuff. They haven't done the homework to make it a lifestyle. They haven't done the homework and research of all the challenges people go through in that situation and so on and so forth.
I mean, there's definitely something, um, beneficial to doing a long fast, of course. I mean, it's a much deeper cleanse. You feel much better. You're more connected spiritually. You're more balanced emotionally. And it would give you a taste. And I think that's the benefit of doing a longer fast. It gives you a taste of the potential of, the human body. And it's very attractive. We love it. It's addictive almost. It's easy to forget when you start eating, but it's
we have beautiful examples of Ranjit, Marin, Kelly Kibbe, Michelle Gibson, of people living it and loving it that completely turned their lives around from the worst situations. Ranjit didn't come to it for the health, but that's a side effect from tapping into the divine. He tapped into the soul. It's going to happen.
So
we have many others. These are the top of my head. Really, really extreme cases of situations that people turned around. We have Elaine here, and we have Inga. We have so many people.
You wouldn't get the taste when you do a shorter fast. That's for sure. That's the unique thing about the longer fast. But don't take it as an event, because when you go back, you're not gonna like your older lifestyle. So if you want to do it, you have to be really prepared that it's not your lifestyle. This short period of fasting, your lifestyle is, how you live.
What are you gonna do after the vacation?
Most of your life, like what are you gonna do after this period of like?
This is the thing, though, right? This is the thing. Like, you have to master the level you're at, and it's like what you're saying with like how you you have to be prepared to break the fast and incorporate the lifestyle, and like you were saying with doing the homework, it's like I've found as well that no matter, like, I did all the research and like how hard it was to break the fast, and making a lifestyle, and I wrote down all the notes, and I had a big, I had a master plan and this and that, but it's a different thing until when you're actually in the experience. That's when you actually really find out, like, holy shit, this is real. Like, it's extremely, and that's the thing as well. You're better off doing 20 or 40 days, 20 days and breaking it properly than 40 days and relapsing. And the thing is that people don't realize, it's like those 20 days, if you break it properly, will actually give you more physical healing than would if you did 40 days and you didn't break it properly. And
but we agree.
Yeah,
of course. 100%. The whole thing, like, was a little bit of ignorance on my part, of course, is I had no idea how humanity in general is so toxic today. It's so plugged up.
Emotional imbalance.
Way more than I ever believed. Like when I started, I was toxic, but now it's at a whole different level. Way more through what we've seen it.
And I think, yeah, you need also when you go past, like I think it's when you go past like 40 days, you need to have a good, solid emotional, mental foundation. Like you want to make sure that you're doing the emotional work as it comes up and getting through it. Like whether you have a good support group on the internet or on the Masterclass forums, or you've got some really good friends, or like a life coach or spiritual support. Because if you don't have that, or within yourself, like you have like the tools necessary, the toolbox to deal with all the massive emotional, mental, and spiritual changes, then you break the fast, then you won't be able to sustain the changes. And that for me is what I'm realizing. Like I have been able to sustain the changes, and it's not, even though it's the food, because I always look at things like it's like the emotional, like you're saying, like what's the root? Like the food is a symptom of a cause, but what's the root of the issue? And the root is always like the emotions underneath, or like it's the emotion. So you need to have that support, and
this, what we're doing here. This is the most important element of master fasting. What we're doing right now.
Yeah, that commitment.
Believe it or not, this is it. The support system, and we've been talking about this for over 4 years. The support system is crucial.
I feel that we are, humanity in general is we're more toxic maybe than we have ever been because of the food that we're eating, the habits of eating as well. Another thing is and it's all connected, right?
The chemicals,
the
the frequencies
affect your emotions. The emotions affect you, the way you eat. So it's like a trap, So the emotions, the lack of discipline, impatience, these days, we really have to work hard to be less distracted than ever before, because there are more options around us. There is much more distraction than I would say our grandparents had, so it's, I guess, less focus. At the same time, more opportunities for you to learn, like you have the internet and you get to learn about master fast, something or maybe mucusless diet, something your grandparents didn't have access to, or your parents even. So we have opportunities, but at the same time we have distractions. So, and that's, health is just one aspect. There are many aspects, in life in general. Yep. We have to help each other, to become our best selves, really. The transfer.
You've got to make it work for you. Like you've got to make it work for you. And you have to, like, this is the thing, like, it's like with work, some people work to live and some people live to work. And, you have to make it work within your life. Like, you have to be practical as well. And like, how am I going to make this work? And how am I going to deal with family interactions? And how am I going to deal with going shopping on a day-to-day basis? And how am I going to deal with, I don't think deal with is the right word. I don't like that mindset, but you know what I'm saying? Like, how do I, like my mindset and my emotional state, and like you're saying, like we've got, like we're in an age of information, like with internet, and like I can talk to you from across the world. It's incredible, but also like the thing is that there are temptations everywhere, all the time. Like if you live with other people, then you open the fridge, one night in a moment of weakness to get you grape juice at 2 in the morning, and there's just a burger sitting there, or you go shopping, or your friends are eating out at a restaurant, or people catch you off guard, like they're like, oh, you want a burger, you want some fries, or like like we were saying in the primes, like you got to be always on, like you always have to have your mindset dialed in, and you have to be aware of the temptation, because they're everywhere, and they seek to, and food is not a religion. Like food is not a religion, and I used to, you wanna know what you're doing and why. You want to have goals, like why am I doing this and where do I want to get to? with, like, for me, I just want healing on all levels, like emotional, mental, spiritual, and I want to be free from food. Like, I don't want food to control me. Like, if I want to eat something, I'll eat something. If I want to eat something obstructive, I'll eat it obstructive. But I want it to be a complete conscious decision, and I want to be able to not control, but I want to, yeah, I want to be able to choose what I eat. I don't want food to control me. Like, it's a horrible master and excellent, like an excellent servant, kind of like that sort of whole mentality. But it's a very slippery slope. It's a very, very slippery slope for some of us here. Some people have no issues just eating 1 or 2 meals a day, or
I honestly
yeah.
I don't think that's true. I think it's hard to eat 1 meal a day. It's not easy. I mean, people who fast for a long time and eat sometimes will tell you it's not easy to eat. I mean, I did it 1 day a week, right? Where I ate 1 day a week for like 90 days and 60 days and 45 days. And it's hard. It's hard. It's not easy.
Yeah.
Fasting is much easier. Even 1 meal a week, or no, 1 day a week. Maybe I had a few, maybe 2 meals or something. It was hard. It was hard because you feel it. Your body doesn't like it. So, but you have to find your balance, and you have to accept that it's hard to balance that. It's just. I mean, it's easier than eating 3 meals a day every day, but it's hard. So
And you have to, like, whatever you're eating, like, you have to, like, you should never force yourself to do anything. Like, it's like you and Dino said, like, you pull, not push yourself. And I thought about this. It's like, you don't want to push yourself from, like, the place of the mind, like, because then you're going to relapse. Like, it has to be a pull from spirit or from soul or from thought. Like, if you're supposed to, if the master fast or, whatever, or fasting is for you, it should happen naturally. And that doesn't mean I'm going to say it's going to be easy or it's going to be without its challenges, but it should, like, God or soul or source or spirit or whatever you want to call it, like, that you,
yeah.
the path will be made for you. The path will be cleared for you. And the thing as well, with, like, I've got some friends that have done, like, they tried to do long-term fruitarianism and they failed. And obviously there's a whole physical aspect to it. Like, they haven't cleaned their system out and cleaned their GI tract out and everything before embarking on, switching to a diet of, a more natural food, so to speak, like fruit. But you've got to want to do it, like, on all levels. Like, you can't force yourself to eat fruit if, you haven't done that underlying emotional, and mental work, and, you might, deep down, your inner child might be craving a burger or some fries, or, you think, like, there are a lot of people that I think that are doing, like, fruitarianism or fasting because they feel
We lost you.
because Jesus did it, said that I'm not going to be pure, I'm not going to be pure or good enough. And you don't want to have that mentality where, I'm dirty and I'm not worthy of living a full life unless I eat fruit or unless I fast. Like, of course, like, it's good to fast and eat fruit if you think, okay, I'm backed up and I've got all these toxins and chemicals in me and I want to have a cleaner body and get healthier. But you should never do it from a place of lack. It should be always from a place of love and a place of wanting to return to your body's natural state and healing, reaching your true potential. You shouldn't be doing it from a place of judgment and shame, like, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm dirty, I need to be pure, I need to, because that, to me, in itself can be just as, destructive. And, I've heard of people like fruitarians that are 40 years old and they've been eating like a fully raw, fully pure, herbs, fasting diet, and they drop dead at 40. They drop dead at 40. And I think, it's just as important. I'm not trying to rationalize eating the wrong foods, because I know monkey mind can create an excuse to eat the most awful foods, but you have to.
Diets are futile. Doesn't matter the diet.
You have to. It's just as important that you eat the right foods as your mindset when you're eating the food. Like you want to do it in a complete state of
Peaceful.
gratitude. Like if you're eating like just pure raw fruit or whatever, but you know, your mind and your body is not accepting it, and you know, you're thinking about a burger the whole time, and oh, this is so unripe, and I want to eat something else. That's not good. You know, that's not good for you. That's not. It's like the water experiment, you know, or the rice experiment, where they, you know, they've got 2 cups of water or rice, and one they give the negative intentions and emotions, and one's the positive, and the one that's negative, you see what happens to it. And it's the same if you're eating fruit and you're not accepting it and receiving it properly, then it's not going to be good for your body. You know, it's not. Yeah, it's very important that
I think,
whatever you eat,
yeah,
you,
I feel the few
yeah,
fruitarians are, there aren't too many fruitarians out there, but the ones who are, into eating fruits only, I think they love eating fruits. From the people
mm,
I've met, which is good. Over the years, they know the feeling, they know the difference. They tell me fruits are the best. I'm like, great, good for you. I mean, that's amazing that you have the love for it, because it's not easy for people to just eat fruits and be satisfied. Like raw
no,
food would
no,
crave a savory salad or something at the end of the day. So that's great. I mean, yeah. So at the end of the day, of course, you want to enjoy whatever you believe is right for you. That's it,
yeah.
right?
And that's the thing. If you really want to be a fruitarian, like more power to you, but you got to be practical. Like it's like I think like it can definitely be done. Like you can do whatever you want to do, and you can make it work. If you really, it's like if your intent and emotion is really there, then you will make it work. But it's that you've got to be practical. Like if you're living in the city and you want to do pure fruitarian, and you're eating all this unripe, you know, fruit, and it's been sitting in the supermarket for 2 weeks, and you're eating it, you're thinking, oh, this is crap. You know, I want to eat a burger. It's like you've got to be practical. Like if you want to do pure fruit, then move to a place where there's delicious, whole, fresh, ripe fruit in abundance that's not costing you a fortune. But if you're in the city and there's crap fruit, then it's like, well, be practical and go, okay, I'm gonna, and let's just say it's your path, it's your destiny to go full fruit, and you want to do that, then then just practice and start eat one meal a day of fruit, and eat one meal a day of like a non-obstructive
Yeah.
salad, or
I also
like you've got to be practical. Like
yeah. First of all, I feel it takes time for you to fall in love and to be happy and satisfied with any diet. So raw food, for example, if you do raw food, it takes time. You'll have challenges the first year,
yeah,
slowly, but as when you stick to it, you will become like you just fall in love with it, because you're not eating the other
yeah,
foods. But when you start cheating here and there, then it's really hard. But if you're determined, you can do it and you can thrive on it, in my opinion, from my experience. But when you fall off and then you believe this person, they say it's okay to eat. There's so much information, right? And this can distract you. So you have to be determined. If you want to eat a certain way, like I'm sure if you eat mainly fruits, you're not going to have cravings for meat, for example, or a burger or anything like that, because it's your body is different. Your body cannot crave burger anymore. It doesn't. If you are still craving burgers eating fruitarian, then I guess you haven't done it long enough. Your cravings will change, just like when you fast, your cravings will change. You're not going to crave a burger when you're fasting. You might crave, and if you do crave a burger, it's because you haven't fasted long enough, right? When you dry fast, you're not craving even food. You're craving liquid. Yeah, like if you
I
the
don't know. Like,
yeah.
in my experience, like sometimes, but I just in my experience, like sometimes it's not enough to be determined. Like look at like an alcoholic, like they can have all the willpower in the world, but as soon as they have that one drink, it doesn't matter how
Mhm.
determined you are. It like like for example, like I know what you're saying with the physical craving, like of the burger, and like you need to fast longer. But then a lot of times it's the underlying emotional issues. Like for me, it was like my inner child was. I felt like I was neglecting a part of myself. Like for example, when I went vegan, right, and I stopped eating meat. What happened is that I was telling that inner child that it's called Sigmund Freud. It's like there's a super ego, the ego, and the ID. And the ID is like it's more an unconscious, like it's more like animalistic, like based on like instincts and desires and safety and security. And when I went vegan, I realized that the inner child inside me that wants, that used to just eat whatever was given to him, like burgers, kebabs, fish and chips, he was just free. Like he was just innocent and free and just went about life and didn't question anything and didn't think, just accepted life for what, just accepted life as it was and didn't, put labels and everything. And when I went vegan, I've only started to realize this now because I've actually eaten some animal food, which, yeah, and it's not something I'm proud of, but it's something I feel I had to do. And I know a lot of people won't understand it. And, I've done like animal rights activism and been fully into that. And it's not something like I'm not going to go and be like a carnivore. I'm not going to continue it. But, it was something that when I went vegan, I told that part of myself, the inner child, that he was wrong. Like it wasn't okay for him when he was a child to be able to be free and innocent and happy and, accept what was given to him. And by me doing that, I told that part of myself that he was wrong. And it's like an unconscious thing. Like, my rational part of my mind, I can say that, well, I can eat the vegan meat and all that, and it tastes just as good. But there's different, it runs deep, like the conditioning runs deep on many levels, and like it's all emotional. So you can do all the fasting that you want and remove all the cravings and all the candida and all the parasites. But if you haven't done that underlying emotional work, then I feel like it goes hand in hand. Like you need to do the physical, but you need to do
Yeah.
this emotional work as well, because it's just as important,
Yeah, that's why.
to
Yeah, absolutely. That's why I would say, honestly, start with the lifestyle. Start with the lifestyle, choose your lifestyle, and do it slowly so that your emotions and your belief system are catching up with your physical changes. Because otherwise, when we do a long fast, the physical changes are so big and the emotional too. But then when you go back to eating, it feels like all over the place. The triggers come back,
Well,
the cravings come back.
yeah.
this is where
See,
changing.
for me,
Yeah, no, this is where we say, changing everything from A to Z. This is the key.
Which is not, it's almost
You
impossible.
keep the same triggers around. You can go thousands of all these retreats. You're going to go home to the same place. You're going to be doing the same thing not long after.
So if you feel like you're so involved, and let's say you have family and kids and you cannot change too much, then change slowly. Do it so you're comfortable, because you don't want to be uncomfortable changing too much and you're not ready for like emotional changes, because you have to.
and this is the thing too. This is the thing. Like when because I did a long fast, right? Like I did 96 days, and I like that inner child part of me. Like I was neglecting him, and I had all these issues, and I was like using the master fast to kind of hide. Like I was kind of, so it was inevitable that I was going to get snapped back like a rubber band. But also, it's like you're saying, like even if you remove every single trigger in the world, if you still haven't done that emotional work, you will fly halfway across the country to find a burger. You know what I mean? Like you have to. You have to.
You have to have a clear intent and emotion of how you want to live and love it. If it's not there, it doesn't matter how much fasting you do, because you're gonna.
And you have to be able to integrate that on all levels as well. Because my intent and emotion was as strong as any. Not like I'm not being egotistical, but I believe when I'm an incredibly disciplined, person, but if you haven't integrated those changes on a like on an emotional and spiritual level, and you haven't done the work, like is with your unconscious self, then it's not gonna. You need to. So
in the protocol, we do say don't do more than 40. We did say that, right? So that because we know we know the change is so big. But I honestly say don't even do that. You don't have to do that. Just get into the lifestyle. You know your lifestyle now. You know what you're, with your whole thing, your family or your environment. You know how much you can change. Change at your own pace. If you feel like, yeah, I'm ready for a big change, and I have my environment is supporting me, then go for a big change. Only you know your lifestyle that you're able to live. Everybody's different, right? So, like, yeah, like if is your partner supporting you, is your parents, do you have kids? Do you have to cook for them? Because that affects you too. If you have to be, handling food every day, I can imagine you might be tempted, because it's healthy food, you're preparing it with love. You might be tempted to eat it, one day. So if you do a long fast and you're handling the food.
The belief system could be changed in an instant, but mostly unlikely. The thing is that we have generations of eating lifestyle and generations of imbalanced emotions and so on and so forth. This to change the information of our being, it's going to take some footwork, and it's going to take as long as it takes. And all the things that people are going and experiencing through this are all part of the journey for their journey. So once we come to that understanding, we look at this and we say, okay, how can I make it work for me at this point? 2 days a week, 3 days a week, and work with that.
For a year, do it for a year.
Whatever.
And then review and look at everything.
I can understand there's somebody with a severe imbalance and they're coming running here to cure their situation.
40 days.
It's not going to work.
90 days.
For them. Yeah, they're going to be a massive transformation, but what are they going to do after? They, in their mind, they think, oh, okay, now I can go back. The problem is solved.
Even if they don't think they will, even if they say, I'm determined, I will never go back. We all said that.
Yeah.
We went back to food. It was not easy as we thought it would be when we were fasting. And for me, honestly, I think I like to simplify the way I see this whole thing. And I think a simple way of seeing like a theory would be the parasites. Okay. Yeah. It sounds crazy to most people, but I feel when we start eating, we're feeding. Things are fermenting. Even if it's fruits, much less obstructive. They move through you. That's why we love them, because we want the foods that move through us. Anything that the more obstructive the food is, the more addictive it is. This is how I see it. It's sitting there, it's feeding the parasites, okay? And what happens, you start getting cravings. The more obstructive the food, the more cravings you will have. It's even with fruits, it's more cravings than only juice, and the massive fast is all about releasing. So you'll have much less cravings, of course. Much less like things fermenting inside and deep stuff coming out, and what happens sometimes you do get cravings, especially like the first few months in the fast. And in my opinion, it's because we still have parasites. We still have things fermenting inside us. So we wash the colon and we have much less cravings, right?
You can't get rid of parasites if you're eating. I don't care what diet. They're going to be there.
Yeah, but even in the
part
fast,
of the cycle.
Even in the fast, like the first few months, you still have, sometimes you will get an intense craving, right? Maybe around the full moon when the parasites are full maturity. Many people experience that. Yeah. Before menstruation, right? Before bleeding, women usually get constipated and more obstructed than usual. And parasites, again, it's usually around the full moon, the menstruation, ideally. Anyway, so.
The body will keep creating them. You can kill and burn them as much as you want. The body will keep creating them because of the environment.
So it's that simple, like we don't need to think too much. It's all connected, physical, emotional, spiritual. It's all connected, and the parasites are all there. with the whole
I
thing.
just say, forget, don't even put any attention to parasites. It's part of creation.
Yeah, but I like to think about it because it's the simplest way. The simplest way to see the whole picture. Okay, I'm eating obstructive food. I'm feeding something inside me. It wants more.
What is
A
out?
parasite's it's just like a kitchen. Like if you don't clean your dishes in the kitchen, then you're going to get cockroaches and bugs that come to clean it up. You know, it's you need them there, because if there weren't cockroaches and bugs to clean it up, then the food would just sit there and rot.
So I
So
don't think that's bad, but I see them as part of the picture. The cravings are because of the obstructions which are feeding the parasites. You know.
and also, like you were saying, like it's so true. Like, you know, when I was just drinking juice, it's like I had no physical cravings, and like the less obstructive food you eat, the less, yeah, when you get into the heavier food, you're gonna get more cravings. And like, so, but also you got to think like, yeah, you got to feed your body, but also you've got to feed your emotions as well. Like if you're moving to less obstructive
It's all
food,
Yeah.
then if you need to use those foods, the heavy foods, to feed your emotions, and then there's that void you're creating, you've got to make sure you know your intentions are there, and you can your emotions are not just
How do
through
you,
other forms, not
how do you
with the
feed the
food.
emotions, Jeremy?
and how, yeah.
How do you feed the emotions? Because that's the key. Once you fed the emotion, you're not going to have all these weird thoughts and so on and so forth, because the emotion is balanced once you feed it. If the emotion's starving, there's no food that's going to satisfy it, and you're going to keep eating and eating and eating and eating.
And
We call them obstructions. Elton refers to them as corruptions, which is the same thing. So the key is to feed the emotion. And what does Elton say? Meditation is the foundation. Fasting is a spiritual and first and foremost journey, and that's where all the focus has to be. Not has to, but we choose to be in that place, because that's where you're going to find your balance. You're not going to find it in anything physical. I don't care what it is, diet, this and that. It's all futile. It's got to be that place where you're going to fall in love with the divine. You know, dancing with the stars.
I mean, when you fast, there's no like it's like
The clarity is it's there. It's right in your face.
Whether you want it or not, you're gonna be connected to God. The longer you fast, the longer you clean your body, the more connected you will be. We all know that. Meditation is so different, fasting versus eating. Especially longer in the fast, it is completely different than at the beginning of a fast. So we know that that's not a question. I honestly believe another thing about the parasite. It's just a theory, but I love it. And I feel that the parasites honestly are the reason we are emotionally imbalanced. When the more parasites we have, the more emotionally imbalanced you are. It's deep. It's deep. Some parasites will not come out easily. They come out my way later after a few months on a fast. Where were they? They're deep. They don't come out easy. When I do colonics on people who are eating, I don't see any like rarely I would see worms come out of people. But when they fast, they come, because it's going deeper, right? The washing is deeper, and
Levels too. Like you've got people that are parasite, like people that like emotional parasite, and it's like on all levels. Like people that seek to, yeah, like parasite is something, the way I see it. Like a parasite is something that takes but doesn't give you anything in return. You know, so you have to.
helping you.
Yeah.
Helping you. They have a reason. They're there to process your waste.
They're helping you.
They're helping you for sure. But
they're
they're
removing
taking
things that should be in your system, right?
But you don't
What's
want
the
them.
thing? Is it really a parasite then? If like, because the underlying issue is the emotions, and we're the one who's putting these, so-called foods into our body. So it's like, is it really a parasite? Because a parasite is something that takes, it doesn't give anything in return. But
That's the definition. But there's nothing that you can do with it's a one-way street in all the universes. It's always a give and take.
It's a
always.
cycle. Your emotions are imbalanced. You eat more, you feed the parasites. It's a cycle. It's a trap.
They're definitely an important part of the picture, like the parasites. And like Gino says to me, like simplifying it, it's like your intention, your emotions, your environment, and what's the other one, Gino? Intent, emotion, environment, and there's something else as well. Fields, yeah, fields. And yeah, your emotions, your environment, even just those things, and you know, your intentions, and yeah, your field, like it's incredibly important, you know, all of it. Like your environment is so, environment dictate outcomes. Like that's just not physical.
That's the Bruce Lipton. He's, you know, that's they thought it was the genes. He discovered, no, man, it's not the genes. It's the environment. You know, this is what space technology showed us very clearly. It's the environments dictate outcome. All that bullcrap science that they, you know, dictated to us for all these years, bullcrap.
And the intention, right? The intention and the environment as well. They affect our pretty much everything.
Yeah.
Because it's not just the environment, but also you, right? How you.
Well, what creates the environment? Intention and emotion, intent and emotion creates environments. How did this planet come to be? Through the intent and emotion of the divine, or whoever created this. You know, everything that's ever been created is done through intent and emotion.
Yeah, and the one thing
It's a belief system. Like if you think that you need a doctor, then you need a doctor. Like, you know what I mean? Like if you think this doctor's giving you a pill and you take it, like this pill's going to help me or heal me, then it might, just because of the fact that it relaxes you and
Evils, of course.
You know what I mean? But it doesn't mean the pill is actually doing anything to you. The pill could be poison, and it's still, you know, it was like this study they did, right? They had 5 healthy people and 5 sick people, and they put them in a group together, and out of the 5 healthy people, 4 out of 5 people got sick around the sick people. And it turns out those 5 sick people they put them with, they weren't sick. They were just paid actors. They were paid to act sick. And 4 out of 5 healthy people that went in there with the so-called sick people got sick. Because it's all in your mind. And, you know, people think, oh, I'm going to catch a cold because someone else is sick because, you know, they've been indoctrinated to believe that, you know, germs and viruses travel through the air. I'm not saying that with some viruses that maybe they do travel through the air, but definitely not like people have made them out to be, like definitely not the vast majority, you know, when it's like everyone starts getting sick at the same time, and it's like there's some big bug in the air. It's like, no, it's not. You know, it's a season change. Like it's just gotten cold, and everyone's purging at the same time because we're all connected to nature and we're all on that sort of same cycle, you know, seasons. When it came to it came over to winter, and my grandma was in an old person's home, you know, and they feed them all like crap, like, you know, they're eating tea and coffee and biscuits and alcohol and animal foods, and it was a season change, and they put the place on lockdown. They put the place on lockdown because they all got like this massive contagious bug, and you know, don't go in there, and it's contagious. And it's like, no, it's not. That's the thing, because if you believe it, it's real. So
well, the thing is, people you're resonating at the same field strengths. Guess what? You resonate at cold field strength. And other people come around, they're resonating at the same, you know, strength. Bang.
Yeah. And yeah.
It's all about fields. It's all about whatever they want to call it, germs popping here. It doesn't matter. It's the fields. You're resonating at the same strength.
There is also truth to the fact that if you're obstructed, you're gonna catch.
That's what I'm saying. You're at the same. You're resonating at the same field.
Too, right?
You're resonating. So let's, you know, wipe out the physicality of everything. Let's look at the fields, and then the picture becomes much clearer, right? It's you know,
if like, you're obstructed,
you know, you look at what Bruce Lipton and the Divine Matrix, what's the name again?
It's like energy, like frequency and vibration, or energy, or whatever you want to call it. Like, yeah.
One thing I want to mention, because I did talk about the parasites, and I see many
Forget
people.
The parasites.
No, it's okay. But I want to mention, because I love the whole theory, but I don't agree with people who with you know, killing the bad parasites or whatever, killing the parasites. I don't agree with that mentality, and many people are into that. Many people do a parasite cleanse, and they think it's gonna, you know, get rid of the parasites. I always tell my clients, if you're not removing the obstructions, you're gonna have the bad parasites. Okay. They process the waste, and
It's like if you got a kitchen and you got all these cockroaches. You know, you got a dirty kitchen with all this food everywhere, and you got all these cockroaches and bugs, and then you kill all the cockroaches, but then you leave all the dirty food laying around.
Yeah,
Like, we're just
like on the master fast, we do.
Exactly.
Yeah, so on the
so
master
simple.
Answers are in plain sight, guys.
on the master
That's a
fast,
good one.
we do have a parasite tincture, right? But that's about like
It's because when the body's overwhelmed with the environment being in such an imbalanced state,
Yeah.
we're overloaded. So we're just trying to help move them out.
yeah. So that's about it. I mean, our focus.
We're not focusing on it.
Our focus is on removing the obstructions, which are the food for parasites and all.
Yeah. If you clean your kitchen and you remove all the rotting crap, then all the bugs are going to leave. There's nothing to feed on him. Well, they'll starve if they stay.
Yeah, if they decide to stay through their will, if they decide to stay, they will perish. But that's, their journey.
Yeah, I mean, everything is designed, as we know, on the master fast to release the obstructions. So that's what
Period.
the focus.
In all levels.
Yeah.
We keep it simple. Let go of the parasites.
Yeah.
They don't need to
No, it's okay. It's just a theory. It's not. I would never go after the parasites alone. Yeah, the herbal tincture, but that's it. I know it's about the obstructions. You feel it. It's not about definitely not about the parasites. It's just part of the process. But it's nice to instead of getting too confused, in my opinion, with the emotions. How do I deal with my emotions? I don't know. I need to do this therapy or that. Just clean up your body, and you will have.
It's like if you had a kiss, it's just keep it simple, smart. And I always look at things from what's the root of the problem? And it's like what's the root? And it's like, okay, you're binging and eating all this food, but it's because of the underlying emotional issues, or parasites. But then it's just like the dirty kitchen, or it's just all the obstructions that are attracting the parasites. So you just got to look at fixing things from the root. What's the root? What's the root of the problem? Like the emotions, the underlying emotional issues, or all the obstructions, or just keep it simple and try and don't get into the mind, and just take a step back and look at the bigger picture of things. Like meditation is the foundation. Like Elatom said, step back out of the mind and take a step back into the, we are not the mind or the thoughts or the emotions. We are the observer behind it all. We are the awareness behind it all. And just get out into nature, take your shoes and socks off, and just take a couple of deep breaths and let go of it all. Get your feet.
Exactly, it's a trap, it's a cycle, and just see it as a trap and a cycle. And the meditation and the prayer are very important for us to calm the mind a little bit, to kind of pause this cycle that's like going nonstop, and it's driving us crazy sometimes. So just step out of it, see the big picture, and say, I don't want to be a part of this, and just continue on the right path that is right, and not just do things because you feel like it, because you're trapped.
And there's many different paths that lead to the same destination. So what works for one doesn't work for another. Like some people, they need to knit. Or some people need to play board games with their family to get into that state of meditation and relaxation. Or some people need to plant and do gardening. Or some people need to, listen to certain music, or they need to work with essential oils, or they need to be a good friend. It's like, do what works for you. Do what works.
Storm. In this house we're born.
Yeah.
Old Jim Morrison died on Divine 9.7.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Good. That was great.
Anybody want to jump in? Throw their 2 cents worth. Actually, Throw in some.
Well, I can easily do that. But
Never
I don't
mind
know
the
if anybody.
just throw in some flaff.
I'll put in some freaking flash. I just go to the seat of creation. That's all I just go to. Just
Hey,
go to creation.
hey,
That's just
Ramsey.
where it is.
Hey,
Yeah.
Ramsey. I need
Yeah.
you to. Are you still visiting in October? That's going to be. I need. Well, I just think with my parents and family to see someone like you on like 385 days of like a full master fast. Because some of my parents don't. Still got people
Okay.
around me that don't believe in nuclear Clark, and it's like I'm telling them, it's like, guys, like you don't have to believe me if you don't want to, but like it's not. I'm not just releasing like the pudding. It's like everything else with it. But some people just. I need like someone like
Yeah.
you that's
Sure.
like
Sure.
over
Sure.
a year.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. No worries. I've
Yeah.
got no worries about that at all whatsoever for you, Jeremy.
Instead of the belief systems and conditioning, like it's like
I may not
yeah,
change. I may not change their mind, but the one thing I can do is I can show a possibility.
Right.
So that's the one
Yeah.
thing I can do,
Through the
and
door.
it may not change their mind, which is okay. But I'm a normal person, aren't I? Like well, 49. I've had experiences, so like I'm probably closer to your mum's age, maybe. And sure, I can talk in that in Australian, in that way. But to give you some. I'm blissed out. I haven't slept maybe half an hour. Like, honestly, like, when you keep going like this, it's just incredible. With me, Gino and Rana, you know what I do, don't you? All that stuff that we all talk about, to me, is from the mind. So straight away, when you're from the mind, it's a lie. It's just a lie. It doesn't matter what you name it, what you term it, what you label it, how you say it. It's all a lie. So I grab all that, I pop it in a box. Okay, mind, lie. Okay. So tell me where I get my joy from. Where do I get my
talk
energy
about the
from?
fields. Let's talk about the fields. Let's order the plasma pudding.
Yeah. Let's get into that.
Let's order the plasma pizza tonight.
Yeah, I'm having plasma pizza. Like you can, everything, always, it's just a thought form. It's just a thought form. A table's a thought form. Food's a thought form. Every time we talk is a thought form. It's all, doesn't matter if you believe it or don't believe it. Yeah, you go, Gino. You go. If you want me to go.
Have you heard this thing going? Words are not the truth. They only point to the truth. So it's not the words that are the truth. It's the energy behind the words, the intention behind the words. You have to learn to read between the lines.
In the silence, right? That's the words are the corruption.
It's the mind. Did you know the mind? I read some article. The mind has like on average 60,000 thoughts a day, and it's like how many of those thoughts are actually grounded in reality? Like how many of those thoughts actually manifest on a day-to-day basis? Like 99% of them are just total BS. They're just total.
The program is running.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
We come to the realization we catch ourselves consciously about all, and things start changing over time. Get into the fast, long digestive vacations. If you can, you start a little bit at a time and start feeling those fields. Start understanding the fields, and everything will start to change because you're changing environments. It's got no alternative, this flesh, to change. It has to change. If you start, tapping into the fields, this has to change. And that's the key. That's what master fasting is. Getting tapping into those fields, training yourself to understand what is it like to live on fields. That's all it is training ground for you to come to that realization and start accessing the answers for you, for your journey to learn and to understand. Because I don't have your freaking answers. I don't have anybody's answers. I got to work on my own.
Yeah. You gotta find your own truth, but also there's a good saying as well. The truth isn't what we like. You have to bend to the truth. Like the truth doesn't bend to you. You have to bend to the truth, and you have to you got to find your own way. Like, listen and learn from everyone. Like, listen to all, follow none. And you have to find what works for you. Like, there's a good thing I wrote down here. I think it was on one of the threads and forums. It said, fixation is the way to death. Fluidity is the way to life.
Yep.
It's like, you know, you should never do something because you feel you have to, or you feel you have to do a 40-day or a 108-day master fast. You feel like you have to eat fruit, or it should be a want, you know, it should be a pull. It should be a pull from soul. Like, it should be a yearning. It shouldn't be, you know, you have to,
Desire.
We
yeah,
learn to fall in love. We learn to fall in love with what we're doing. Otherwise, forget it, man.
Yeah.
Don't bother.
yeah, it's not what you do, it's how you do it, you know. Well, it is what you do as well, but, you know, you've got to have the intention, you know, as well.
Yeah, you have to choose it. You have to desire it and choose it and say that's what I want, and you go for it. And it's okay to do mistakes, and that's why it's better to do shorter, you know, like at your own pace. If you feel like you're strong enough to go for, let's say, level 7, which is liquidarian, then go for it. You know what you're able to do. You know, you know your environment, but you better do it as a lifestyle. Otherwise, please don't do it. Level 7.
You got to be honest with where you're at. Like, you got to accept yourself for where you're at. Like, that's the thing they all talk about. It's like, it's good to want to get to here, or, you know, to want to become this person and to want to, but if you're doing something from a place of lack, like from a place of I'm not good enough, or I need to be this, then who's to say when you get better, you're going to get better and improve, and then you're going to be like, oh, well, I've got to be better now, I've got to be this, or now I've got to be fruitarian, and then you get to fruitarian, it's like, I've got to be liquidarian, or you should never do things from a place of lack. Like, you always want to, it's good to want to strive for more, but you also want to accept yourself for where you're at now, and don't lie to yourself. Like, be honest with where you're at now. Like, you know, I tried to convince myself that I was up here, but I was actually way down here. So, you know, when I did push myself, like, you know, I should have stayed at this level, but because you know, my ego, I pushed myself up here, then I got snapped back, I got humbled, and now I'm, you know, way down here. So you got to be real, like, with where you're at, like, be practical.
One step for the other.
Yeah, don't make dumps. Don't make dumps. You can't skip levels. You can't skip levels. You know, you'll get humbled. Like, learn from me. You know, learn from me. I don't care how strong you are, or how disciplined you are, or, you know, or whatever, or how young you are, or, you know, anything, or it doesn't matter. Like, this stuff is powerful. You gotta respect it. You know, you've got to respect it. Like, I mean, you can try. Like, you can if you want to. There's no right or wrong, but you know, you will learn the hard way. You know, some people have to go through that, and that's okay. Like, that's okay too. You know, it's all part of the journey.
Yeah. Yeah. Some people can go hard for sure. Hi, John.
Yeah.
You're gonna say your 2 cents here. What did you write? So it's not something we figure out. It figures us out.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, you're quiet today.
Life will always give us the lessons we need at exactly the right time. Life is the best teacher, you know. Yeah.
Life is freaking amazing, you know, and if people could just understand that and turn on to that field, life would be freaking amazing every single day. Jump out of bed if you sleep and start running.
and be grateful. Be grateful for everything. You don't want to be complaining every day, because that's just not a life. You know, you're not learning your lessons if you're complaining all the time. If you feel.
Oh yeah, and also as well, another thing I'm learning is don't be hard on yourself. Like, if you make a mistake or you relapse or whatever, doesn't mean, like, learn from it and go, okay, you know, I've fallen down, you know, get up, dust yourself, go, okay, what have I done wrong, and how am I gonna learn from this mistake so I don't make it again next time? But don't be really hard on yourself, and, you know, and get all emotional and, you know, and shame yourself. And, you know, it's okay to make mistakes and be a human and learn from them, but don't be unnecessarily hard on yourself. Like, everyone goes through it all, and especially with in this modern day society, with how we grew up and our ancestors and our DNA and the foods we've grown up on and the conditioning, like the psychological conditioning and the conditioning in our body, like makes it extremely, yeah, it takes a long time. You know, it doesn't happen overnight. So be kind to yourself with where you're at, accept yourself where you're at, and still, you know, you want to keep moving forward and, you know, and get better. But yeah, just don't beat yourself up unnecessarily, because that's not
You
good
guys,
for you either.
guys, you mind if I jump in here for a sec?
Of course not.
Gino? Yeah, no, I'm not silent. I'm just saying all these words and stuff. It's like all of the, even when we figure it out, when we talk about figuring it out, we're still in that same talk. People don't realize that. So like law of attraction and all that stuff. And I'm just thinking what you said, like I went to a funeral today and Catholic church, and we forgive ourselves too much. Like we're so easy on ourselves really when we look at how everybody is. You know, I mean, we're masochists, but that whole "you're forgiven" is such, it's thrown around. So, you know, but for me now, it's not even about the words anymore. Like when you get to a certain level, when you feel a certain way, the way you used to think doesn't even come into your realm anymore. It's not something we have to learn how to change necessarily. Yeah, we have to adjust and obviously and balance out. But once you get to that certain level, the way you used to be isn't there anymore. It's not something we even need to think about anymore or lose. You know, so it's like we're on the right path, but Jeremy, for you, you're thinking about it way too much, brother. And you're already putting limitations on yourself that you're not even aware of, because you're saying what you're going to do. And just go, just do it, man. We don't need all the words. You know, this world has so little feeling that we have to say an exorbitant amount of words to get someone to realize that we love them, because we don't know how to show feelings, right? or even show, you know, like, it's amazing. Just be patient, everybody. You know what I mean? Like, you young guys, I get it. I've been there and I did it. I actually had the same, like, I did what, say, Oliver Paul is doing right now without MFS. So I already experienced that, but it was so, you know what I mean? So just be patient. Don't think that you know what you're going to do for the rest of your life right now. I'm 43 years old. I hate to say that. I'm 43 years old and I have no idea. I've never wanted to limit myself like that. If we limit ourselves and we put a name or a title on ourselves, all that does is limit us. Whether it be a medical one, whether it be a spiritual one, or whether it be, even in my mind now, a religious one, because it's limiting. You know, it's all the same thing. We're getting tastes of the truth. But if we have to follow someone else's theory, Gino's MFS is not a theory. It's a protocol. And it's, most of us who've been following it for a while now, we're all on the same level. So like Gino will say something, and I was just talking to Ranjit about it. You know, it's you become connected to it. It's not something you have to learn. It's downloaded into you. We are complete morons, and then we wake up and we're like, I'm a friggin' genius. Or you think of something and you go, I never learned that. It's not something we read in a book. It's not something we can get from someone else. It comes to all of us. We just have to shut up and get out and be patient. You know, that's it.
We are just sharing our experiences, and this is the power in what we're doing, because that's all we can do. Forget about all the theory stuff. It doesn't mean anything. We're sharing our experiences, and because I've done a lot of these things, I can relate to what people are going through very easily for me. 3 decades I've been doing this. It's not an pull out of a hat. And things start, like you're saying, downloads start coming through. My goodness gracious. And they just keep coming, especially in the dry class. And you keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going. And, you know, then all of a sudden we come up with what this protocol, what it is. And that's all it is. I'm nothing special. each and every one of you, as you go through this, you will come to these realizations on your own. It's going to happen. Tom, we hit it off so well because we're talking on the same level. He got through all these downloads like myself, and we don't know anything about each other. The information is there for everybody to tap into. It's a limitless realm, and we all have access to it. Clean your body. Tap into the spirit. Simple. It's no rocket science. It's space technology. Plasma space technology. Where the soul meets science, the true science, the science where there's no dollar signs behind it. Because the science is anywhere. It's your life. Our life is a science lab. And it's a beautiful thing when we start tapping into these places. There's going to be people who have challenges. What do you do up to this point in your life? You got to look at that. Don't if you start pointing fingers, it ain't going to work for you. Go see your doctor. You can blame him. But when you start taking responsibility for all the actions and forgive all the people that got misguided you, whatever, and you forgive yourself, and you allow the process, no matter what. Use the freaking tools and watch what happens. We've seen it enough times. Forget about looking for proof, because what people are looking for is excuses, where I wrote that as one of the mirrors of truth. That's what I see in 33 decades. I see people looking for excuses. Maybe you can give them all the proof you want. They ain't going to change because they're looking for the excuses not to do it. How many miracles have we seen, John? We can't even count them anymore. Everyone. How many have we watched? Complete.
How about running into Gabrielis in the jungle in Peru? Seriously, it's like,
what are the chances of that? It was meant to be, John.
I know.
Right? The field, you're on the same fields. Bang.
Yeah. Well, I mean, listen, it doesn't matter which field they're on. I walked into his.
Whatever. I'm just saying that, the exact same time you guys went there,
And listen, and the way I feel about ayahuasca, it's an herb. Yeah, it's great. But it's just like what we're talking about in the group with the money, with the food and all this other kind of stuff. You went away and you did this fancy schmancy thing. You changed your life, and then you go home. And then a month later, you're like planning your next trip for ayahuasca. I'm planning a trip to Peru, but it's not for the ayahuasca. It's for the cheap vacation out of New England.
Yeah.
But you realize, and in all honesty, like on people that are, I'm not even, whatever. But it was different for me because I've let go of a lot of shit in my life. I've lost everything. I've lost everything a lot. I'm okay with it. So it's nothing for me. But people who go down and do those things, the only ones who get those life-changing things, in my opinion, are the ones who've never done anything in their life. Yeah. And it's like someone taking acid for the first time in their life. It opens them up to a new world, but the shaman doesn't tell you anything. No one tells you anything down there as far as what's in it, what the mix is. That's it. It's something that you will always need, just like everything else.
This is in this path, we're just saying, take your time, allow it to unfold. If the thing for you would be to move into the liquid category, you can do that. If you want to go to something without liquids and no food at all, you can do that. And how long is it going to take? It doesn't matter. But, if that's something that you have a draw to, you have to allow it to happen. You can't force it. It's not going to work. It's something that your body's going to tell you when it's ready. Like my body keeps telling me over and over, what the frick are you doing eating, man? It doesn't like food anymore, So it's moving in that direction of going less and less and less with the foods and everything and so on. But what I'm saying is, with this, we call it the lifestyle of less is more, because as we're moving along, as the years are going by, everything becomes less and less and less of the things we need, the tools we need. We start, letting them go, because you're cleaning it up and the body's going to be able to self-sustain itself. We're moving in that direction, self-sustaining, because only the body feeds, hydrates, builds, balances, and heals itself through soul from source. With that one sentence, you know, that V equals P take away O is very clear. And that's all you need to know, because that's all.
Hey, Gino, can I make one more point?
Yeah, of course.
You know, when I first did this, Jeremy, like everybody else, it's you're freaking out. You want to burn down your house. You want to, you know, you want to just change your whole life, all that kind of stuff. You blow the doors off in a bad way because you're so freaked out by all this. It all evens out. We don't have to look at this like we're going to completely change our lives. We're going to lose our families. We're going to lose our whatever. Guys, it's different. I'm basically in the restaurant business, but I don't work there full time. And I work in the food business. We can live. And that's why MFS is so high above everything else. We don't have to go into a cave and become this. You can literally, once you learn this, you can learn how to live the lifestyle, if you chose to, the lifestyle that you have right now, and just do MFS. You know, it's torturous for a lot of people, but just be patient with it, because don't make these absolutes right now, because all you're doing is putting yourself in a box. And we can do it. Like, do you know how good you feel when you work a food truck serving, by the way, burger has been now stated 15 times in this Zoom. And, you know, when you're serving hot dogs and burgers and all this kind of stuff, and you go through the whole day and you get home and you didn't eat anything, do you know how much power you get from that? You know, we're actually limiting ourselves. This is all about limitless. And we're limiting ourselves by saying that we have to have this place. When we get good at this, the place is in our head like it's always been. Right. So we can be anywhere physically and we're in paradise, just like whoever Gandhi, was it Gandhi who's in jail? Who's the guy that was in jail forever and then hired his, you know what I mean?
Mandela.
Yeah, Nelson Mandela.
Yeah.
You know, we just have, and it's not something we don't have to go and train under some modality. It's going to come to us. And then when we connect to people with this on the same level, you piece it together so easily. It's like, that's when you're like, what's the point in talking? Like, we're just figuring everything out. It's kind of boring. You know what I mean? It's different. It's awesome. But don't limit yourself in when I'm here. It's the destination fascinate, whatever it is, you know, when I'll be better when I'm here. Just do it wherever you are. That's the beauty. Look at Gino's in Toronto, you guys. Are you kidding me? He's in a major city. How many of us, I mean, when we first start this, you have to run away. I did it. I ran away, and you do all these things, but then you realize it's like, am I really healing if I have to run away?
Right. Exactly. No. Exactly.
And then now when you run away, when you're healed, it's not running away. People want to, you know what I mean? It's not running away. You're just on your path. It's different.
Like you're saying, essentially, what I can gather from it, it's like your internal environment should dictate your external, and your external environment shouldn't dictate your internal, essentially. Like, once you have it incorporated within your being, then it doesn't matter where you are.
Let's take it up a notch, Jeremy. When you have mastered the internal environment, you will be mastering and changing the external environments, because your field strengths are feeding you. And the laws of the universe, the stronger always feeds the weaker. And that's what we're talking about. Be the change.
And what's going to happen, Jeremy, what's going to happen is you're not going to be saying other people's quotes. You're going to come up with the same things. Like, there's times in my life when I've been depressed because I used to deal with major ups and downs. You know, you're reading Rumi quotes, or you're posting Rumi quotes or whatever. When you get to a certain level, you're plugged into the same source that those guys were on. We just use different verbiage.
Exactly.
It's not so freaking complicated, but it's the same source, you know? So all the quotes, yeah, we all know them all and we get them, and it helps at times, but until you actually, what you're saying is coming from your own connection, then you're just regurgitating what somebody else taught you. It's like people that jump in and start using the verbiage right off the rip. I get it because they're trying to get it, but at the same time, you're doing it like you do everything else. You're just regurgitating it. This is for us. This isn't to learn how Gino got there. We're all going to get there on our own. Gino's just showing us the way to get there, you know? So even, you know, I mean, I don't know. We all have to find our own way in this system.
Yeah, well, what I'm doing is guide you guys to use the tools for you guys to find your way, because I don't know the way for you, right? I'm doing it for me, and that's all we can do, and it's very powerful tools that we have available now. That's the beauty, you know. We've come quite a ways to understand how to do this, how to clean the physical body, and start, you know, working on the other parts, which are the most important, mental and the emotional specifically. And that's it. You know, we just love the journey and the moment, and allow the process to unfold little by little. Let it happen, and just look out, because look what's possible. You know, I was looking at Marin's pictures. Was it today or yesterday? And I'm looking at when he started, and I'm looking at him now. I'm going, my goodness gracious! Now this is what it's all about, man. And I get high just listening when I see people turn their lives around like that. That's a real buzz, man. Well, there's no drug that's gonna come close to that. This is stuff like the nectar of God, man. You know what I mean? These are the awesome fields that we can tap into when people, you know, like Ranjit and Marin and many of you guys that have done things that very few will do out there. So, you know, we keep going, man, and allow the process to unfold. So let's have that plasma pizza now.
You know, Gina, I really love to talk about just a 2-second thing about focus.
Yeah.
Just focus, right? Just focus, because whatever words that you use, whatever energy you put around words, whatever you focus on, it's always going to come to fruition. So if you don't tunnel vision your focus, if you want this 100%, or even if you want to have a certain level, you literally got to change so much in your life that you have to focus. It's the first time that you have to literally slow down, let go of information, let go of books, let go of your environment, let go of so much, and just really tunnel in and go internal and focus. So precision. It has to be cut with a knife. It has to be so tight. So which means when you do that, you go into that space, the rest of the stuff of all those distractions of words, illusions, and everything we talk about should actually disappear. If they're not disappearing, that means you are not focused. Okay, that means that you are not focused. That means you are bringing in all the other thoughts, distractions, and everything else, and you are opening up the doorway wider. And that's what makes it difficult. You have to go in, trust, and all that to focus. Focus is a very, very difficult thing to do. Meditation does help, obviously. So Elton's definitely right about that. But how do you focus, you know? You've got to let go of a lot of stuff, you know, a lot of stuff. Responsibility comes in on that. And then, you know, then you've got to look at your lifestyle. Are you ready to focus and do that sort of thing, you know, and to work that out? So I just wanted to bring that in, because that's what you've got to do.
Yeah.
That's what you've got to do. Like, there's no way around it. It doesn't matter what level you even do. Level 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know, choose something that you really feel your heart to pull. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because all you're doing is you're settling on something. You're settling on something, and you think that's going to be comfortable for you. I say to people, go a little bit uncomfortable, and really stretch yourself, and focus on that. Because if you reach for the stars, you land on the cloud, sort of thing. You can, you know, just push yourself. Not push. It's a pull. It is a pull. You can go a little bit further and just stretch. You know, even a 5-2, I know for a lot of people is a stretch. You know, doing a 24-hour dry, 1 day MFS, you know.
Stretch is a good
just
word.
one
Yeah, get pulled.
stretch, yeah.
Stretching is good.
But have a look. Yeah, it is. It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you grow, you evolve.
When you
So
push,
focus is.
you hurt yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Get pulled.
So I just, yeah, I want to bring that one in, because I tell you what, let me tell you, I know many people won't do what we do, Gina, and that's okay. But let me tell you one thing, it's worth it. It's worth, even if it takes you 20 years, it's still worth it, because time is limitless. There's space and time there's no such thing as time, it's just space, you know. So it doesn't matter.
Ranji, isn't everyone, when we look at everyone in this world, everyone is so laser focused on their careers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So everyone puts that laser focus on their career, but could you know, I was just thinking about this a couple hours ago. It's like, what if everyone for just one day on this earth would just to stop and just to sit down and look inward and change that focus? I mean, imagine the whole world for one day did that.
Yeah.
It just blew my mind.
It would be awesome.
We're doing it in MFS with our new moons and full moons, our spiritual days that we have together to go inward, and that's a start. And it's just so beautiful to watch people like Elaine who've shifted, and Stephen,
Yeah.
and there's so many of you, like you, Oliver, too. It's just a delight and such a pleasure to watch that and be a witness to that.
And
The
every
little steps.
too, right? For 9 seconds.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We missed 9 seconds of our time every day.
Hey guys, are we gonna do anything for Halloween? Anybody thought about that? I haven't. I don't even know when it is. I just wondering if anybody else knew.
For that Kermit outfit, is that what I gotta?
No, I'm not doing Kermit. Come on, man. I'm creative. You know, I'm doing an afro. I haven't figured out the rest yet. But no, so if anybody doesn't know, I used to do this in some other groups, but there's a lot of people, we're all alone, a lot of us, you know, so I figured we should do like a Halloween party, virtual Halloween Zoom. So I think it would be pretty hilarious. But whatever.
What day is Halloween on?
It's the 31st of
31st.
October. 31st of October here.
No, I know
That's the day I'm going over to use.
it's a Thursday. Okay.
Yeah, you're gonna.
Hey,
be
we drink scary, creepy, dead juice anyway, so I mean, we're already
Well,
pretty spooky.
Yeah, no, but listen, I don't even use it for that because somebody else was saying that too. I don't like, my sister used to make me watch horror movies and I still don't like them. But it's more about just, for me, it's more about just getting into character and being a kid again, you know?
Yeah.
Like I've never done a vampire, I've never done a clown, you know what I mean? So it's not about that for me.
I love
I'm
that
doing like
stuff, though.
70s, I'm doing 70s sitcom or something like that. I'm doing light. I always do light, you know? But we'll see. I think it'll be fun. I'm doing it. I don't know if anybody else is.
We'll think about it. We got a month.
All right.
That would be awesome.
I
So
want to jump in here for a second, if I could.
Are we gonna do it the Saturday before or after the Halloween?
What is-
Oh, all right. That works too. We could just do a regular Zoom that way. That might, yeah. We're going to record it?
31st?
No, because the 31st is on a Thursday, so we do it this weekend before or after?
Hey,
After, when I'm there.
After?
oh, Inga wants to go. All right.
All right.
Inga's gonna be here.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'm flying on the 31st.
Yes.
Have you painted the house, Gina?
Oh, yeah, the house is painted. Just I'm working on the master bathroom trying to get that finished. It's just one thing after another. And my mother fell on her face the other day and going. Lucky it wasn't a hard fall. It's a few little cuts and bump in the. Oh man!
Hey, Jean, I think Jeanette, you wanted to say something, didn't you, Jeanette? Yeah. Come on. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Ranji. Can you hear me though? I'll try my headset. I just don't think anyone could hear me before.
We can hear
Loud and clear.
Oh, whoa. No, I was just going to say, yeah, October 2nd sounds amazing for our Halloween party. That's the Saturday following Halloween. So I thought that was a cool idea. Thanks, John.
Yeah, that's a great idea. You're gonna be with us?
It was Ranjit's idea.
What? Thanks, Ranji.
You mean November?
No, he's a trick.
November the 2nd.
Oh, no, sorry, that's what I meant. I did want to ask you something, Ranji, if you don't mind. I watched the Elatom video just recently because I saw that you hooked up with Rick, and he's a dear friend. And
Oh, yes, he came over. We had a big hug.
I think he was on day 27 or something. Anyways, and then he said something in his post about the Elatom video. And I was like, what the heck? Why haven't I watched this Elatom video yet? I saw the short clip and it really resonated. So I went back and watched it, and I loved the question that you asked about like how to handle your newfound like energy levels and like being one with the light. And I wanted to ask you, because his reply was that you would be of service, you know, and that's of a very high order. So I wanted to ask you how you're dealing with being of service.
Yeah, okay. So a lot of my service is in with MFS Group, helping people there. Also with my family. So it seems to be around a lot of people that I want to build relationships with, because I've built an intimate relationship with my soul and the Creator. It seems to be that's what I want on the external. So the service seems to come to me. Like I'll get someone that might just ring me up out of the blue, and they'll just want to hear my voice, and my voice heals them. Or someone says, can you send a prayer? Or, you know, it's just, it's continual nearly every day. People that I don't even know, something, messages or whatever. So what I do, I surrender into that field and allow that service to come through. I also service myself as well. Like if I need healing in my body, or if I need something, I will also serve me too as well. But with those high energies, what else I've done is gone into a lot more deeper meditation. Like Elaton was saying, sometimes, because I can't sleep, right? Well, not that I can't sleep, but 3 hours is pretty much my sleeping. So I'll go through the day where I'll sit for 30 minutes and I'll just be blissed out deep, deep, deep into the space. And that really helps me to channel down my energies a lot more. And I'm finding also, because Elaton said, you can instantly turn down the dial and you can, you know, turn it up whenever you need to. I've been practicing that, and that really works. So I can find myself go into me, and I can really channel those energies right in, and I can turn it down. And sometimes I do a lot of redirection of energy. So what I will do is, if I feel like something needs to be fed some energy field, like for example, I know we had this new moon and season change, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on. I can take that energy out and I can go feed it to other people and allow that energy to come out of my body in a way. And all the other usual stuff, grounding, hugging a tree for 3 hours, stretching, all that other stuff, and basically really pouring love on people, Jeanette. Like if anyone contacts me, you know what you're going to get. And you just get that. Like Rick would have felt that when he come over for a hug. Like honestly, I just poured everything in my heart into that hug and that energy field. He would have felt it, and I'm sure he might have suggested that. So yeah, all those sort of things I kind of do, just anything to really to support another individual, because I feel limitless. I do feel that limitless place, and it's just.
So do you mean that you're very comfortable sharing that energy with everybody, and that you actually really want to be sharing that?
Well, yeah, I'm definitely got that out there. So anyone that feels my field and is attracted to it, they'll automatically just be in some way. I don't know who they are. Sometimes I get some really interesting messages from everywhere around the world, obviously, but like they'll just pick up, you know, whatever, and I'll talk to them. If it feels right for me and it's right for them, then yeah, sure, I'll do that. It's it's not drained. I don't feel drained at all. Like I actually feel more energized if it's if it's integrity and it's of the divine and it's the right thing and it's of compassion and service, then it just seems to feel right, you know. And I'm teaching myself, I think, in some ways, Jeanette, because I don't really understand it all. I just go, well, through the whole year, all I've done is gone into my deep space and just sort of said, okay, go into the unknown place because you don't understand it. And then you fit yourself into it and you feel yourself through it. And I don't know, one thing I love is hugging people that are in a fasted state. I'll go anywhere to hug someone in a fasted state at the moment. Like I'm going to go see Jeremy. I'll do that. And Marita, I'm going to go see her. I'm going to go to Canada next year. I'm going to hug all those people. So I'll do that. Means more to me than anything, you know. So, yeah, I just go with the flow.
Thank you
I'm
so
gonna come
much. I was wondering how you're handling all of that. And were you always, sorry, last question, were you always as comfortable as you are now with the level of newfound energy, like, or in the beginning of your MasterClass journey, was it pretty uncomfortable? Did you ever feel like the pull backward?
Yeah. There's many times I've wanted to retract, many times, and sometimes I still do. There's many times, and it's usually with situations where people don't, like, I hurt people, Jeanette. I know I hurt people, and not by intention, just by the fact of being who I am in my freedom. That people see that and they want that, and they can't look in a way to get that, and they may fall. And I know people get angry with me. They don't believe me. They judge. They compare. And that stuff really is the tough journey. That's the tough stuff, because you see that going on, and that's the moments where I feel like retracting. Because and that's where MFS really comes important for me, because you need that support and love in that group. Otherwise, you can't. There's no way in the world you can do it on your own. There's absolutely no way. I have so many people that just pour love on me, like send me love messages or support me or talk to me, or, you know, I had a big thing in July, and with the euphoric feelings and going into my goddess energy, my female energy, like I've never felt like a female before. So you go through all that sort of stuff and you're on your own, and you need to work through that, because it's not in a book, you know. It's not in a book. It's all internal, and it's what I feel is revealed and realized for you in order to be of service, not kept for yourself, because it's a treasure. They're like gems and treasures and blessings that you receive by having that devotion, and that comes through, and you have to release it out of your body, because your body it's like what we do with the obstructions, you know. It's continual release. I believe I'm a master. I'm becoming a master of releasing. A master, yeah, because you are just you're just a shell, and the divine lives within you, and you can't keep it. You can't keep it. You have to get it out, either through doing my quotes that I do, doing my videos that I do, talking to people. All that is just releasing the downloads, because it's just too many of them. I can't. Like, I go far out. What else? Like, some of them are just so bizarre. Like, I don't even know what I can say. Like it's just amazing. But you know what? It's the real deal. It's the real thing. Like, I feel it really. Like, it's real. It's just so amazing. And to be in the Masterclass group and have that support to do that, like to be you, like Gina and Ryan have always allowed me to be me. Always allow me to be me in my experience from the limitless place, and evolve so freaking fast. Like, I can't believe it. Honestly, I look in my mind and I look back and I just go, how do you do whatever? Was it 397 days, 3 lots of 108s, Gina, yesterday? It's pretty amazing when you look at it. But it's a natural state. It's a beautiful state. And once you learn, yeah, it is very magical. I think once you learn the patterns and the cycles, like now I know about season changes, Jeanette. I knew I had such big problems in June season change that the soul already prepared me for the September season change. Like, you see the patterns forming for yourself, and you know, season change and moon cycles and that really play a big part in your involvement, and you see it all happening. You prepare yourself, you plan yourself. It's very strategic in some ways. You really channel into the flow and surrender in that flow, and don't ever second guess it. Don't ever think that what you're doing is, is that a bit crazy, or someone going to say something about me, or this and that. You don't ever second guess it. You do it in the moment. There's things I've done videos in the moment, and I don't know what's going to come through, and it just flows through. And you just got to release it. Like 3 o'clock in the morning, I'll do a video.
Thank you so much. I'm totally
Oh.
going to be replaying this whole section and listening over and over.
Oh,
Thank
oh,
you.
you're so beautiful. You're so beautiful. Thank you.
You
Jeanette.
are. Thank
Oh,
you.
I was saying that the magic of the art of subtraction. You cannot contain it. You need to give. You need to give. If you hoard it, you won't be happy. You're going to drown. And this is what we see some people doing. It's you need to give. You need to understand the basic principles of every single atom in all the universe is continuously giving, and so in return it gets fed. That's creation. It's always creating to sustain itself through its love, and that's all we can do. So,
Can I share something as well?
of course.
Yeah. Okay. Then was a question from my friends. They says to me, "What do you eat now when you have changed your lifestyle?" And I say to them, "There's no point asking me because I eat everything and nothing." That's the experience I had. I cannot call myself I am this because same time I'm not. And then, as I say, there was unfoldings when food is as natural as fast, and same time is these unfoldings comments like, as I say, in puzzle, in jigsaw, piece by piece. And then, I also, if you remember, I always say, never believe anyone, because when we believe, we limit ourselves. And that is actually, that is even include our parents or our grandparents. Never mind if we believe someone which we never even met in a person, because you don't know what they haven't talked, but we believe. And what we believe, we create. What we fear, we attract. It's very two simple words and very two simple actions. And then this week I had experience. And actually, Gina, now when I'm looking back, as you can probably hear me, I not call myself, I'm doing this, my MFS, or I'm doing that. And realization came to me is it's something naturally guides me through any step I do, that is eating or that is fasting.
Mm-hmm.
And not necessarily like, I don't call myself master fast. There is completely unlimited, whatever happens with me. And what happened then was, see, I'm on this group. First day I joined, there never was, I need to take something. I'm here to give continuously. No, what I'm going to receive back, nothing. But I receive so much. It's beyond. It's just that feeling, and you say, you need to go hug tree. You need to do this. I don't need to do anything. I feel I'm a part of tree. I'm a part of I walk on earth. I sense myself as a sunshine so many times. And I need to be very, very careful, because when sun is too hot, it's not very pleasant to be around other people too. Sun is beautiful. People love me, but I am so straight, and what is on, I let out.
I am, but I am. You're shining, beautiful.
You know. But that's how it feels. And Gino, I'm not call myself anything. I am everything and nothing.
Exactly.
You know. Another, you know, my little daughter said as well, question, and then I say to her, you know what, beautiful? When you talk, feel, and I can tell you how I felt, but you will have completely different experience than me.
Mhm.
Be yourself. Because we not ourselves. We not in our power because we believe. I don't believe anyone. And that's naturally something. It just, when we believe, we limit ourselves. Come back in your own power.
Inga,
Let
that's
go.
awesome.
Let go what we holding on to. And I have been holding on to, like, until these all realizations clear and gently, patience, patience, kindness, sweetness. Hard, sometimes life, you know, as I say, life is flow.
You pick out your superhero yet, Inga?
I feel, John, I have a gift
And we all do.
within.
Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
but everyone needs to discover their own. It's
Right.
not what, say, for
Right.
example,
So you're gonna make
you
your own
say,
super. You're gonna make your own super person up.
we'll see. It's unknown. It's unknown, you know. It's
You're
just
speaking
let
my language right
unfold.
now.
Just let unfold. As I say, we attach to physical body. Do you really like we realize like we need to live certain age, but if you listen my probably Zoom, I never had that sensation. And now I realize why. Because there is no, you know, bird flies and the car smash him and bye. And that's us too. That's me anyway. You know, I walk tomorrow and if somebody knocks me down, that's me gone.
Yeah.
You know, it's just freedom. You know, it's we are freedom. But me, and as you can even talk to my sister does fast now, not full MFS because she's no tinctures, but I gave her a little bit of mine. But which is beautiful, beautiful. She does something, you know. That's the thing. And I say to her, what I was mean by this now. Just 1 second, sometimes.
They've seen the transformation she's seen.
Yeah,
Your sister.
I see. My gosh, I no idea. Yeah, and I say then, you know, I no idea what's gonna happen to me, but I just feel like I have some gift to give to this planet, and I no idea what it is. You know, it's just unknown.
Yeah. Guys, remember where Inga was when we started? She started.
Yeah, I was in my like sort of victim mode, you know, taking responsibility. Yeah, that's what I say. No matter what lifestyle you choose, because we all unique, we all so different, but let go judgment. Even I have listened to vegetarians. There is so much judgment. Then why do you do this? Why do you choose your lifestyle, what resonates within, to judging everyone else? Let that go. Let that go. And freedom is within. As I say, abundance is within. Everything we seek is within. And I know it's, are you fruitarian? Are you a pork eater? Or you are vegetarian? Whatever. You know, life is really interesting. You know, I'm looking forward to come and see you anyway. Even I know I'm gonna be challenged.
I love it. I'm so looking forward. I'm so looking forward.
And just like a quick one, dear, can you send me your address? I need to get a ESTA,
Of
Yeah.
course.
you know, like a visa.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Gino, I'd like to jump in and share for a bit, if I may.
Sure, of course. Sure.
Hi, everyone. I know that the subject about chemo just came up, and you know, I had shared that I had done chemo. I had 2 visits. I had 2 visits and at the doctor's for chemo, and then walked away from it. Well, as you know, I shared with you, Gino, that some acid was coming up in my stomach, and I also read the post where you mentioned that it's so important to purge it out right away because, you know, it can cause issues, hold wherever it may sit. And so I had a question for you about that, being that, you know, I'm fasting right now. And so I'm, during my fast, you know, I'm releasing toxins and having that sit in my stomach, or possibly, I don't know, if dry fasting was a good idea for me to do right now.
Follow the protocol, Angelica. Like, the reason I posted is because, you know, some people are doing some strange things out there, and they have no clue of the power of master fasting, how it unlocks things. And some people are not doing enough enemas, not drinking enough juice, not doing the dry. They're doing whatever they think that they know better, right? And you know, all these foreign substances that are, especially isolates and stuff like that people put in their bodies, drugs and so on and so forth. The body can't recognize this stuff. It's not found in nature, and the body locks them up. It actually locks them up. And when you start fasting, it starts unlocking so they can be released. Now, that's a challenge to release these things because they're not natural. And the body goes through struggles and challenges. You know, that's why I ended up in bed for 2 years. So we are very adamant and trying to get the message across of how important all parts of the system are, especially in these situations. You just got to be extra careful and go the extra mile. So if you're finding that you're feeling that you're burning up, guess what? We have green juice to cool you off. We have you know, baking soda enemas, and use these tools. Use these tools. Don't be a hero and say, "No, I can't do the green juice. I want to stay on that." You know, like, you know, Marin had the situation where, you know, he gets rushed to emergency because he had severe pain in the chest area, and lo and behold, they're blaming him on his breath work. Then the truth came out. They gave him 4 years of chemo, way too much chemo. He had burnt lung tissue. How are you gonna come out of that where you can't breathe? You need assistance in ER. Okay, there's a purpose for these things. So I'm just saying that, you know, not everybody's going to be going through that, but you know, if it's in a situation where it's a longer whatever, and it's where you know it's can pose life or death situation, we're not going to be heroes and say, "No, I'm not going to go there." You're gonna be responsible and go do the right thing. Go get it checked out, see what's happening. They may you know, have to do something that can assist you. You know, you don't be drawn into their fear mode crap. You know, be wise, be smart, ask billion questions, and only allow them to assist and help you. That's it. And you know,
Angelica,
yeah.
something to remember too is that all of these articles are coming from a modality that doesn't know how to heal anything.
Exactly.
Okay. So when we're on Master Fast System, if you're on the full, your body's in full purge mode.
Yeah.
That's why all the freaking out about the different waters isn't that big of a deal, this, that. When you break it all down, your body's, there's no better way to take care of what you have than what you're on.
Yeah.
You know, really.
Yeah.
And
Well,
you have
you
the
know,
tools, you know? And don't forget the bubbly too. That cools your whole body down. So,
mhm,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
You're in the best place to be with that situation.
Yeah, and I take the bubbly like right before I start the dry fast and when I break the dry fast. And I, like Jeremy, I started MFS gung ho. I jumped into it. I had all the tools and I thought I'm going to do this, and I hit the ground running, and I threw everything in, including the kitchen sink. It was I started up here, like he said, and it humbled me very quickly. The first time I did the Colima, or not the first time, but in the beginning when I did the Colima, I'm having issues with I'm staying here with my daughter, and so I have issues with their water. It just it doesn't adjust to the right temperature until later. It has like a lack of time to do that. And so there were moments where, like, okay, I'm sure this is fine. Well, I ended up, using really hot water and caused some issues.
Oh yeah.
Thinking, I'll be fine, no big deal. I even ended up doing the Colima feeling it was hot. I'm like, no, this is probably even going to be better. And that humbled me. I realized, you know what? This is something to respect. It's not something to like, whatever, my body can take it. And so now I'm learning to think of this with so much respect, and especially, Gino mentioned that, we start losing the lining of our intestine about 30 days. Well, I'm thinking, with all these symptoms I'm having, that's probably what's going on. I'm starting to lose it. Lose the lining, and so I want to be careful that if I'm releasing more of these chemotoxins, that I'm still protecting and taking care of my intestines.
Yeah, using the tools, do extra enemas, maybe go down to green juice to help cool things off for a few days, and
make sure to write all this stuff down so you can do the next article on this stuff and tell them it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the things I wanted to do. I really want to do the 108 days, because one of the reasons why I want to do it is because I want to give back. I read the notice, and it, and the guidelines mention, you got to be experienced in this to be able to share. Well, I want to be
but
able
Angelica, there's a lot of people that haven't done 108, but I'm on like my 4th round of 250. We've done a lot of days. It's not, we all start out, we think that 108 is it. We all did it, because we all did it. I'm doing 108. I'm doing, especially back before when it was just, like that was it. Okay. Yeah. And then when you're in it, you go, yeah, I'll definitely do one 40-day master fast every year for the rest of my life. But then we all wake up and we realize, when you wake up to this, Angelica, you realize that doesn't mean anything. And even people who have done amazing things, some of them don't even see it yet, which to me is amazing, but everybody's on different levels. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. People are gonna be drawn to you just because of who you are, not because of really.
What you do.
Honestly, because I used to be the same way, where I was like, I have nothing, even just getting like a Morse certificate, whatever. But then I was like, what am I doing? Like, when you are it, you're not going to have to need anything, Angelica. It's going to come to you. It's weird.
Mm-hmm.
People are drawn to you, and you can help people so much, it's different. You just got to be patient, and it'll come to you.
I didn't make these posts to bring any fear into anybody. It's just knowledge, to have knowledge, so an understanding of, what we're dealing with out there, and conditions that people are at, and what they've done to themselves. So you just have to be aware. and be a little extra careful in these situations. You know, it's people on psychiatric drugs and so on and so forth. These things got to come out, and it's not fun ride for sometimes for some people. So there's got to be a support system. And if there's not a support
You know, it
system,
reminds me a little bit of the food post today. I haven't been on the group that much today, but the food post where somebody's saying, didn't we used to have a separate group?
right?
You know, and I get that, because when I first started doing this and people would post a food thing, I would be like, ugh, it would be too, you know what I mean? I'd freak out,
Yeah.
you know? But it all evens out. It all balances out. It becomes so different as time goes on.
Yeah, there was
you know?
there was no purpose doing that. People were posting in there. Oh, you got to post in the other group, and it was. And then we're
It's
thinking,
part
well,
of the
what this
lifestyle.
just doesn't make any more sense after we did it for about 8 years. It doesn't make sense. You got to have it all together, and that's the way it is. But you know, this is where the support system is so crucial when people are doing these things, and you know, coming on these calls and everything to see what's happening, and we can feel out and understand what people are going through. Because if you're at home and you don't have a support system, and you know, and you have controversy, that's even more challenging for people. So you know, you need something to tap into where people are on the same field strength, basically. You know, same kind of thing that we're doing, so you can feel sort of at home. Because out there, you know, until you can build your field strength where you can walk anywhere and not be bothered by anything, you're going to go through challenges, you know, especially when you start losing weight and stuff. You just get comments and stuff. So we need to support each other, inspire each other, and understand, and not get into that fear mode. Tap into the fear mode.
And that's why I'm sharing, because that's not where I want to be.
Yeah.
You know, I want to do this empowered.
Thank goodness you only did 2 sessions.
Yes. Well, I didn't want to do any, but you know, like I mentioned, it was a point where I just kind of gave up, you know, and I said, fine, here you go. Here's my body. You obviously, you know what you're doing, because I haven't been able to get this resolved. But my heart just told me, I no. I looked at myself in the mirror one day after the second session, and I looked like death, like
Of course.
ayahuasca before, and I've seen death in my face, and I recognized it. It was horrible. There was no life in my face. My eyes were sunken in and dark, and my cheeks here, they had a dark shadow. I mean, if I think that my face now looks thin, or if somebody were to say, wow, look at you, you don't look well, wait until if they saw what I looked like right after the second session, where I didn't have, when I looked like death, there's no comparison.
Actually,
And I'm aware of that.
you look so beautiful right now. Like,
Oh,
but you know, I haven't.
You do.
You know, we haven't seen you like so much before. You know, like we're not used to you before. We're used to you now. So for somebody who saw you before and now, the inflammation has gone. Your face became smaller. So for them, it looks sick. You know, but for me, you look radiant. Like you look beautiful right now. Like you're glowing. I mean, just wait and see what's gonna happen as you stay on this lifestyle. You're just gonna look better and better.
oh, you're so
Like,
sweet.
you know, just to tap in and back to Marin, he was, you know, sharing the story with me about he was oozing black out of his skin. And
But he did 5 years of chemo or something.
4 years of chemo, yeah. He was oozing black for months. He couldn't wash the sheets anymore. They stunk so bad. He ended up having to throw the mattress away because the smell wouldn't come out. He goes, it was horrific.
And his pee, by the way, was black. I mean, we have photos of that.
So, you know, this stuff is nasty. How people, you know, get persuaded to put it in their body, I have no idea. But it is what it is.
Yeah.
We understand what it is. And, you know, if somebody could get a hold of Ganses, make their own Ganses, I would highly recommend that because it brings balance to that stuff, and it would make people's journey a little bit easier. I had sent pain pads to Marin, I believe, when I was in Italy or when I was here. I don't remember now. Maybe when I came back, I can't remember. And they were helping him with pain and stuff. You know, he goes, "Man, these things work." I go, "Yeah, well, you know, just keep using them." So, you know, we're talking about Marin, who went through an extreme very extreme case of butchery, and he was able to completely turn it all around. He went through 2 surgeries during his master fasting time. 2, not 1, 2. One was the lung, and the other one was I don't know what they call it when the intestines get screwed up because of the surgery. They get tied up. So that was this. I think that was the second one. Anyway, he did a 13-day dry fast in both surgeries in the hospital right after surgery, and he walked
Are you
out.
planning,
Huh?
I'm sorry, are you planning to put the pain pads on the shop website?
Well, those are something you'd have to make, right? I just don't have time myself to sit down and make all this stuff and start a production of GANs and stuff. Everybody can easily make it. There's enough information in the Spaceship Institute.
And we have also on the website
Yeah.
how to make them.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, how to make it? Yes, I'm not home right now. I'm visiting my daughter because she had a baby, so I'm kind of helping her out for a little bit. But as soon as I get home, I do plan to make my own.
CO2, the zinc GANs, those are the 2 main ones I would highly recommend. Anything to do that you had the big C word, you stay away from the CH3 because it feeds tumors and stuff like that. But also the ocean water or seawater GANs, that's a simple one to make, very simple. And there's been cases of people soaking in a bathtub of seawater GANs, you know, and bringing balance to that condition, you know, just by doing that. So there's lots of things. We have so many tools, so many. Just be aware and understand and be empowered with the knowledge that we have now, you know, that we can turn pretty much any situation around, because I haven't seen things that are not possible. There's no such thing as that. That's a crappy belief system and program running that things are not possible. So we're in that realm where everything's possible because we've seen it happen. We've seen it happen over.
So is it okay to use baking soda in my enema for long periods of time?
You can use it every time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't need large amounts, but you know, if you're in that more of an acid state, use a little more. You know, just it's a simple thing to use, and it will help. You know, this is why the whole chemistry thing, which I fell into with the human body, it's going to get you nowhere fast, because our body needs acid and our body needs alkalinity because it works on balance. Now there's acids that'll burn you, and there's alkalinity, you know, high bases that'll burn you. But then there's acids that the body needs, like CO2. The body's producing CO2, not as a waste product. That's out the window. It produces it because it needs it. It needs CO2 for energy transfer, right? So, you know, there's a whole different understanding that's coming through with that, and that's why I don't like to look at chemistry at all for the human body. We focus on balance and balance only, and allow the body to do its work through the soul, and because it does it in autopilot when we're doing these digestive vacations, and it's we're just assisting all the things that we did to the body that brought it to an imbalanced state. We're assisting it to bring it back to balance through the stages of cleansing. That's all we're doing, you know. And like as John mentioned, it's in a very strong purge mode when you're on full NFS, very strong. And this is where the whole understanding out there, so many just cannot see the picture of what we're talking about. It's too simple. It's too simple. You don't have to focus on that quality of water's got to be this, that. We were washing. The quality of the juice has got to be organic in glass and all that. We're just washing. We don't care about any of that stuff. We're using it for their fields, for cleansing purposes, nothing more. We're using the spirit of these things. And that's why this is so powerful. We're using the physicality of them. We're just using the physicality of them to access the spirit of them. It's a whole different view of what we're doing compared to what's out there. Not that we're any better or worse or anything, but we have a new understanding. And with that new understanding, we're access to the limitless realms where everything's possible. That's all it is. It's very simple.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate you letting me share
Yeah.
for your responses. Thank you.
So all the things we share, I just keep adding things because I feel more people need this information because of where I see some people going, thinking that they can skip this, skip that, and this and that, and then they get themselves in trouble. And then they come to the board, you know, they're not following protocol, and then they come to the board and they're asking for help. You know, we have people coming to going paying other practitioners, this, that, and the other. Then they come to MasterFast board for support. It's really funny. You know, we were taking them in with open arms, but what's that doing for the soul? You'll come to that understanding eventually. Life is beautiful, you know. Gift of giving, the art of subtraction. That's where it's at, and that's what we're here doing. And we do as best we can, you know. I don't have the gift of the gab words. My words maybe don't come through properly, but I'm here every freaking day, every weekend, every Wednesdays. I'm here.
Hey, Gino, who's Gab? Who's this Gab you're talking about?
Gab?
Yeah, you said you don't have the gift of the gab. Who's Gab?
Oh.
Hey, Gino, can I tell you something? I don't either, in a way. Like, I try to say things as short as I can, but that's why you found this, because you didn't have all the gab in the way.
Right. Exactly. You know, like, what do they say? What's the saying? Don't look at what people do. Look what people say. Look at what people do. At the end of the day, and that's what we're looking at. You know, people blah blah blah. I want to heal this, that, the other thing, but they're not doing the things. They're not doing the footwork. They're not doing anything. And then they're pointing fingers. Okay, we're doing it. Never mind what comes out of our mouth. We're just doing it, and then let it out, let it all unfold, and let it happen, and watch the.
Gino and Rana, you have such a big giving hearts.
So do you, sweetheart. You're so generous in everything you do in life. It's beautiful. So you guys, you know, we'll be having fun, man. This is my life. You know, just I never would have thought in a million years I'd be doing something like this. Honestly, I had no intention at all. And this is the way it came.
Do you know, this was a pretty big flip-flop from working on a car to the human race.
Cars, building machines, you know. I know. So yeah, it's awesome, you know. It's awesome.
That time.
Yeah, let's bring it to a close.
All right, last call. Last call.
Last call. Let's take our shot. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Is he still on?
So just
No, he left.
He left.
Josephine, I see here you have a question, right? You want to do level of MasterFast. Do I need the MasterFast, the herbs?
Yes.
You will see that in the protocol. We do mention for the different levels what you need, what you get to take. Because you said that people shouldn't.
Where did we say that?
Yeah, we don't remember. Yeah, maybe there was a misunderstanding, but for each level there is.
Oh, when you're eating, yeah, because eating and healing do not belong in the same sentence. We see taking herbs as futile. You're only going to get so much out of them. The biggest bang for your buck is when you're doing your digestive vacation.
Yeah, but when you're doing a level of MasterFast, you're doing some days of MasterFast, right? So on these days, you want to take the herbs.
Yeah, if you're doing, for instance, the hybrid, which we're doing 1 meal a day for some people just that can't fathom fasting completely, we still have windows of fasting in the hybrid days.
Within the day.
So you're doing so many hours of not eating anything and not drinking anything. So that in that time, the herbs will help you to some degree. But when you do the long digestive vacation, going on full MFS, then you start seeing the real magic happen. because you're not eating anything, and that's the key to
Yeah.
stop digesting completely.
So you want to eat 4 days and fast 3 days. So yes.
Awesome.
So within the 3 days, you want to take the herbs and
At least,
in the
yeah.
protocol. When you get the protocol, read it. There is for level 3, you will find which kit to take.
And keep the eating days very clean and minimal. You know, just fruit would be the best. You know, and some green juices if you want.
Yeah, I mean the suggestions are in the
Yeah.
protocol for the food. Yeah. Thank you, Janet.
Thank you guys so much for all your time tonight. This has been so awesome. I connected into the field.
Exactly. Where else would we want to be? Now, seriously, there's nowhere else I want to be. Nowhere else. Maybe on a beach.
Hey, we could have, hey, Gino, we could have a Zoom off someday and see if anybody can outlast Ranjit.
24 hours. Let's do it. 24 hour.
Steve, are you okay today?
All right.
Steve, are you okay today? You are very quiet.
Who's that? Steve? Oh, Steve.
Steve.
Just a little tired, that's all.
Yeah.
I'm fine, just a little tired.
Hi,
Like
Steve.
Bedtime.
Usually you do talk.
And the energy's been a little low this week. Not a big deal.
Embrace.
Yeah. Kidneys are working a little extra hard, I can see, but awesome.
Yeah.
That's good news.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Steve, you using the burnt wooden stick at all, that method?
Yep.
I use a roller. I love it. Get an old wooden roller and put a woolen sock over it. Use that.
All right.
It works really good for my back. Like, it's much better than a foam roller or any, like, it works. First time I used it, I was like, are you serious? Like, it works. It helps a lot. I actually use it when I'm driving too. Like, I drove today and I just took it just in case, but I keep it in the car, and if you're driving, you can use it, while you're sitting there. It's cool.
Yeah. I'll do that.
You're talking about the dough roller?
The rolling pin.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
use that for my legs.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Amazing.
It's just in my neck, everything.
Yeah, Gino, don't you have a video on that?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's like, it's not on that. He has one on the burnt wooden spoon, but he has one where he's like exercising and he uses the roller. Like all over his body.
I didn't have I didn't burn the roller yet. Now I burnt it.
What was it like burning it, Gino? Is it hard? Because I'd love to try burning mine. I just don't know.
If you have a stove with gas, you can do it there, or you can do it with a little propane torch. Or,
cool.
Yeah, simple. Or I don't know if it'll burn in the oven. It may if you put it in an oven.
You'd have to crank. Yeah, but Gino, it'll be real close. It'll be real close to being done and burning the house down.
I'll take a video and put it up on the page.
Josephine, what herb package should you buy? Well, we always suggest the Last Supper 12 be fully supported. It's up to you.
It's in the protocol. If you have access to it, you'll see. I forgot for 3 days. Is it?
Yeah, but it's always best to have full support. If you're only doing 3 days, you can go a little less. I think maybe Divine 9 or whatever. But,
Gino.
Yeah.
Just a quick question to you. You know the herbs. When I'm gonna come back, I can bring herbs with me. How can I order them without
when you're here,
shipping?
Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I let him know ahead of time.
Yeah, let me know about a week before,
Okay.
and then we'll have them ready.
Perfect.
Nice.
Right. My phone is gonna go flat anyway.
You're gonna get the secret. Hey, Inga, you're gonna get the secret stash that's been in the closet for like 8 years.
Yeah, I wish I had.
It's cool. Something to looking forward to.
Yeah. The minimum is the star 4, absolute minimum. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's maybe for less than 3. I don't know. It's in the protocol. If you have access, check it
Yeah,
out.
I don't remember off the top of our heads. It's all there. Anything else, guys, or we can call it a night?
We're good. Get those imaginations ready for Halloween, Steve-O.
All right, we'll have a blast,
Love you guys.
as we do every night. Every night.
Love you too.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, love you guys.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Let's get that class flowing.
See you. Good night.
All right, everybody.